And with a push of the button, we are live. Welcome, Internet, to Land Beyond the Mist. I believe this is session 14. We are chugging along. 14 or 15, one of the two. And we are here to play some more D&D. I'm excited. Before we jump in, let's start as we always do, going around the table and introducing ourselves and our characters. I'm just going to start in camera order as I see it. So without further ado, Travis, why don't you introduce yourself and who you've brought to the table today?
I am Travis, and I am bringing Melody, the half-elf bard. Most of the time he goes by Mel. He is a strong bard. Many times he has been both entertainment and bouncer. He's got 17 strength, so
Nice.
I'm very excited to play this character. And he's been kind of flitting from town to town, just being a performer, singing songs about other heroes. And a couple years ago, he decided, you know what? I'm going to start working out. I'm going to be the hero that I write my own songs about. I'm going to write songs about me. And he's going to come out to Beyond the Mist to start his legend.
I like it. I like it. What kind of legend do you wish to tell about yourself? What is if it were ideal in Melody's mind, what is the grand tale that you're going to seek out to tell?
Well, the grand tale is going to start over the course of this adventure. He's going to go out. He's going to save the rest of his party heroically and epically by taking down a werewolf that has already knocked all of them down. And he's just going to show that werewolf what's for. And then when they come back, he's going to start writing that song about taking down a werewolf.
Excellent.
Guaranteed he's not going to die this time.
Excellent. That sounds like quite a tale to tell. Well, I look forward to seeing what it ends up being in the end. Awesome. Let's move over to Decode. Why don't you introduce yourself and who you brought to the table?
Hello, my name is Decode, and I will once again be playing Tats, a female human wizard on her perpetual quest to make it into the middle class out of the lower class because she is dirt poor, could barely afford her arcane focus, and that's all there is to know about her for the most part.
You have already ventured forth into the mist and come back once. How did your adventures change you? How have you been impacted by your time out beyond Farfield Keep?
Well, it was sort of a very ambiguous experience, as the first, 3/4 of the adventure went really well for her. She was not touched a single time, and then they laid an ambush for some robbers, and within the first 6 seconds, she took 2 arrows into her chest and immediately was knocked out, and doesn't know what happened afterwards, except that one of her trusted companions died. And since then, one more of her companions also disappeared in the mist with a fate unknown, so dangerous life.
Dangerous life indeed. All right. Well, hopefully it will go a bit better for you this time. Let's slide over to Iritor. Why don't you give us a little introduction or reintroduction to your character? Oh, I believe you are muted, buddy.
After not playing the aforementioned companion anymore,
right.
This time I'm playing a druid that wouldn't consider himself a druid, but fairly big man. Has this heavy fur armor on, oaken shield strapped to his right arm, and seems to be, well, not in this case. The shield probably lying under the table or something like that, but it seems notably on edge in the tavern, wanting to leave apparently. And yeah, there's not much to say.
You said that you were not going to consider yourself a druid, or your character wouldn't consider themselves a druid. Why is that? What is the disconnect between your class and your self-identity?
Well, he wasn't ever trained. Basically, he was just a normal boy in the farming village. As a teenager, one day went into the woods and did not come back out, and was never seen again.
Okay.
And now has somehow found his way to Farfield Keep and Beyond the Mist, drawn there by something.
Very exciting. Well, it will be interesting to see what it is beyond the mist that is your calling. Should be fun. Excellent. Last but not least, the Invisible Man himself. I believe it's Keith. Why don't you tell us a little something about your character you brought to the table?
Yeah, sure. So I'm bringing Belmont Bronzehand, who is probably the biggest dwarf any of you have seen. He is almost 5 feet tall. Well, not quite. 4'8" and weighs about 200 pounds. So a big guy. But more than that, he doesn't really act on it too much. Most of his life he's spent studying, actually. Religion, mostly. That's his jam. As for what religion that is, well, he's kind of studied every religion that he's been able to find, and I think that's the motivation he has that with adventuring. He's just gonna find out as much as he can, all kinds of ancient civilizations and religions mostly, yeah. Being an acolyte, so that comes naturally to him.
Very nice. I think you've come to the right place beyond the mist to find ancient religions and things to study. Have you had a chance to hear the tales of people who've come back beyond the mist and talk of strange beings of power and statues and religious symbology out there? Or have you largely gotten here for the first time?
Yeah, this is the first time that he's out here. And yeah, haven't heard any rumors yet.
Haven't heard any rumors yet. Well, I think you have come to a nice place to expand your studies, and I'm excited to see that happen. All right. Well, with introductions taken care of, you find yourselves around the large oaken table in the Cloak and Stagger, and have agreed, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to head up north through the Howling Fields and do a little bit of exploration looking for additional landmarks. Before we go, I guess, what, if anything, would you like to take care of in town? You have any preparations that you'd like to take care of, or we head in right out into the mists?
I have all of my stuff good to go. Just gonna check the mule, make sure everything's secured nice and tight. Got one barrel with 1 day's worth of water on it for all of us, and double checking rations. Melody's good to go. He's probably doing this while the others are taking care of their stuff.
I find it
Tats is
interesting
set
that
up.
people bring a barrel with a single day of water in it. Like,
I mean,
it's a very heavy
yeah.
water skin you've brought with you.
Well, we have another mule with another barrel of water. So
Okay.
It's 2 days of water.
I need to know how much water I have to take with me, because I can carry like 60 pounds more. So however much water that is.
1 day's worth of water is 8 gallons for all of us and the 2 mules, and that would come to 66.6 pounds.
Okay, then you have 1 pound overweight, so I'll need to take something off of him.
Overweight for light encumbrance or for normal encumbrance or for heavy?
Mm-mm.
As long as we're under 280 on the mules,
Yeah.
we should be all right.
Yeah, I'll just take one ration out of him and carry it myself, and then we're good to go.
Okay. Cool.
We can go medium only, like normal pace is the fastest with an encumbered mule, right?
If you're encumbered, then yeah, you can't go at a fast pace. You can go at a slower, normal pace, and you will be penalized on the hex grid. You move slower when you're encumbered.
Okay.
Sorry, Decode. I jumped right in because I was laughing at the mule carrying water. What were you doing to prepare?
No, I just said that Tats is set up. So there's nothing she still needs in town before heading out.
All right.
Yeah. I cannot think of anything. If we forgot something, we just have to deal with it. So
All right, so you begin heading out into the mist. So what I will need from you is someone to act as the navigator for the party, and you will go out and lead the way. You'll be in charge of giving me a pace and an intended direction.
That would be me.
All right.
We are going to head north to the monastery, maybe slightly northeast, maybe not directly to it, but very slightly east, but mainly north.
Very slightly east, but mainly north, out into the Howling Fields. Very good. And what is
at
the
a
pace?
medium pace.
At a normal pace. Excellent. So what I will need from you is a navigation check. I generally accept survival wisdom, unless, of course, you have another skill you'd like to bring to bear.
Yes, I have the Outlander background, so this is probably still at advantage.
Yes. It would be at advantage.
Okay.
All right. The difficulty is 10 for the first day's travel, and so you head out, making your way across the plains and little fields and small towns and farmland that feeds Farfield Keep over the first 12 to 18 miles. Not getting lost, not having any issues. Towards the early to late afternoon, you find yourselves in the Howling Fields. The plains and rise up to meet you with long, tall grasses. An occasional tree can be found. The fields and farms and villages melt away behind you, and you are once again out in the wilds. While I roll up some potential encounters here, why don't the four of you tell me what it's like as you are navigating through the fields here on your first day? How are you traveling? What is the mood like? Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you.
Unless somebody shuts him up, Melody is like constantly like checking. He's probably in the process of writing a song from some of the rumors he's heard in the tavern, and he will like play a song here or there, and then he'll like stop and just like, no, that lyric doesn't quite, I can do better, and then he just kind of makes mental notes.
Mel is not paying any attention to... Tats is not paying any attention to Mel at all. Just sort of in her mind going through the formulas of the spells that she's been looking into and thinking, well... was the X equals 3 formula at this particular part of the formula at this particular point, or at the other one? Or like, and just trying to, like, in her mind, going through all the motions that she needs to cast a spell at the very second that she needs to, because well, if you're in that situation, you suddenly only have 6 seconds to go through all the components and have the correct mental image to think about that you want to do. So she's busy.
All right.
Vanda is not probably ahead of the group, and if you look closely, not really actually looking around much, just like looking straight ahead, and somehow still knows like what's going on around him, and hums a bit along to like whenever Melody is like trying a particularly noteworthy tune.
All right. While you are all carrying on, and the music is playing, it is Belmond. You are keeping the best eye out, and you notice that around you, dust has begun to kind of rise up off of the ground. At first, you don't really take notice of it. There's a bit of wind in the area, but as you watch, you are particularly noticing that they begin to form small shapes, like little cyclones, and they are moving upwind. They are coming up towards the party and not blowing along with the wind. You notice that there are 3 of these shapes as they are making their way towards you and the party. What do you do with this information?
I think I kind of interrupt Mel's working on the song or tale, and I think is the wind supposed to act like that here?
What?
I haven't been here for that long, but
What the heck is that?
oh, so it isn't.
Hey guys, what is that? Panic?
I didn't see anything. What do you mean?
The whirly things, the spinny.
You point
Floaties.
out the whirly thing spinning towards you, and sure enough, as you try to decide whether or not you should be panicking, these creatures begin to form kind of shapes. The whirling cyclones begin to grow kind of hands and long snouts. You hear this kind of cackling sound as if the wind itself were laughing at you. And these three creatures begin rushing up towards the party, coming within 30 feet, and I believe we should probably just roll some initiative.
Yeah.
I am going to, there's just a few of them here, I'm just going to keep initiative on paper, so go ahead and just give me your rolls, and we will make it happen. All right, Melody starting things off really strong.
Not again.
We get 17, an 11, and an 18. All right, the first to go is Tads. You are ready as a whip as these things approach you. This cackling wind-like sound flying towards you, their hands outstretched. What do you do?
I think Pads would look at the frontmost of those whirlwinds and start twisting her hands in some twirly movement, and blowing a kiss of a gust of icy wind flying towards the first one as she casts Ray of Frost.
Ray of Frost. All right, go ahead and roll to hit for me.
Yes, it's lagging. 1 sec.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, a 9. Unfortunately, these things are quick and agile, and as your Ray of Frost comes racing out, the cyclone just swivels around it, dodging out of the way. Greg misread his own... Oh, yes, sorry.
And then she bolts 40 feet away. Yeah, in one line directly right away from it.
All right, you move your 20 feet or so. 30 feet.
40. 40. She's
Why?
mobile.
You have a mobile feet. 40 feet. Excellent. I misread my own paper initiative because I'm smart. And so now these things move. They were delaying their turn until somebody attacked them. That was it, clearly. The creatures come racing forward. There's 3 of them, and there are now 3 within range as Decode has raced away. Excellent. They will make attacks, one against each of you, with their, like, reaching claws out of the dust of their twirling cyclones. The first, will go against Travis, with a 6. They are
That
unable
misses.
to hit you. Yes, the second reaches out towards Belmond with a 20. I assume that will hit you, but...
Yeah, that is.
Alright, some characters have some crazy ACs, man. Alright, the claw reaches out and it rips into you like a sand blaster, just ripping and tearing, and dealing to you some amount of damage. 3 points of damage.
I want to use my reaction. Can I do that?
Yes?
I want to cast Hellish Rebuke. That's it. It's me.
Very nice. It rips into you, and the fires of your patron blast out, rebuking it for 12 if it fails its save. D20 plus 2. Unrecognized because I can't type. Good. No, it passes its save, but Hellish Rebuke
geez.
still gives it half damage, correct?
I think so, yeah.
That is how I remember it as well. So this thing reaches out, scrapes you, and even though your fires reach out and try to hurt it, you notice that it is not quite as effective as this twirling cyclone of dust spins around in your fires. Excellent. The final one will reach out its claws towards Wandel. And it will attack you, reaching out with a 9, unfortunately unable to rip at you. Excellent. Which brings us back around. Belmond, you are the next to go. What will you do?
I think Belmont raises his battle axe in 2 hands and tries to slash at this weird wind creature.
All right.
Not really sure if it's going to work or not. But give it a try.
Please go ahead and roll me to hit. The 16 will hit. Go ahead and roll me some damage. 15.
That's max damage.
You take a mighty swing with your battle axe, trying to rip through these twirling cyclones. You notice that you definitely have done some damage to this thing. Its form kind of quivers as you slash through, but it doesn't seem as effective as you intended your slash to be. Excellent. Anything else with your turn?
I think that's all. I only have 1 spell slot, so.
All right, excellent. That brings us to Wandel. You've been attacked by these creatures. You see the mighty swing of Bronze Hand, unable to bring it down. What do you do?
Stabbing them with my spear is probably about as effective as him attacking with his battle axe. So, if I'm in melee, range attacks are at disadvantage, right?
Correct.
That may still be appropriate, though. So what I will do, if that doesn't give them an attack of opportunity, I'm not sure how we rule this, I will drop my spear that I currently have in my left hand and cast Produce Flame, and I hope we are close enough together that we are in 10 feet. So I would not throw the flame at my opponent, but at Belmont's opponent.
I see. Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Doesn't have.
Oh, the 7. No, you fire your flame that you've produced in your hand, but you can't get a good angle at him, trying not to hit Belmont in the back, and it flies wide. Very nice. Excellent. That brings us to Melody. You are locked in combat with one of these twisting devils. What will you do?
All right. I think Melody was so slow to act because he was taken a little bit by surprise. He had to scramble, get his pan flute ready to go. There were so many things to think about in such a short amount of time. So he's got his pan flute, and he's going to look at the air elementally thingy right in front of him, dead in the where he's going to imagine the face is. He's going to say, "You call yourself a little cyclone? I've witnessed farts with more wind power than you." And he's going to cast Vicious Mockery.
All right.
And punctuate it with a little trill of his pan flute.
Yes, because nothing is more mocking than the pan flute. That is a charisma save, yes?
Yes.
That is how I remember it as
this
well.
says DC 9. That's not right.
Well, we'll beat DC 9.
Yeah, no.
It'll be 8 plus
now.
your proficiency, which will be 10, and then your charisma modifier.
Which is my charisma is an 18.
So
that'd be
14.
4.
Yeah, 14 is your
Okay.
DC, and it fails. Go ahead and deal me some damage. 1 point of psychic damage for the creature in front of Melody. It wavers a little bit, and then you see it going trying to spin up with more wind power. Excellent.
And it has disadvantage on its next
It
attack roll.
does indeed. All right. That brings us back to the twirling cyclones' turn. They do not hold their turn this time to wait for Tads. And they begin. They're in this like kind of half triangle around the three of you, and they begin to like speed up, matching the new intensity of the one in front of Melody, and they all burst forth like whole hail of dust in front of you, showering each of you with the like sand that they're kicking up in their little whirlwinds. I need each of you inside the area, so everyone but Tads, to make me a dexterity saving throw DC 12. Excellent.
Dexterity.
Yes.
I clicked it. All right. Well, let's type it in. That is 3.
Oh, all right. Belmond and Belmond and Wandel, you have successfully saved. You will take half of 2 points of damage as the dust is thrown at you at high power. Melody, you take the full 2 damage, and you are blinded for 1 minute. As the like dust rips into your eyes, showers over you, you're unable to prevent this blinding rush of sand.
Great.
Yes. What am I waiting for?
Oh no, I said great.
Oh, I thought you were like, wait. Okay.
Objection.
Objection. All right. Perfect. That brings us to Tads. Tads, you have run 40 feet away from these creatures. You could see them like showering your companions in a gust of sand. What do you do?
In retrospect, that seems like quite a good decision. So, since Tad sees those creatures consisting of whirling winds, she will try to cast grease at them, but not trying to hit the area, but instead trying to hit the creatures themselves so that they start throwing grease and slow down. That be something that's possible, since like they just threw dust, so I assume they can pick up other substances as well.
You want to turn them into grease elementals of some kind. Yeah. I think that's really interesting. I think we should do that. How should we adjudicate it? What is your goal, right? When they change form from dust to grease, what are you trying? Like, what's the like ideal situation for you?
I was thinking that since it is the winds that makes them hard to hit, that like once they have some more surface, it's easier to stab through the grease rather than through the wind, so that they no longer take half damage from at least piercing weapons, I would think.
Okay, I think that's cool. So, yes, what we'll have you do, you cast grease in the area. You're trying, you're trying to hit the creatures, rather than the area itself.
Ground. Yeah.
I think that that's doable if you want to catch 2 of them, but if you want to catch all 3, you're gonna have to get the whole group, including your allies.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Which 2 are you going to cast your grease against?
Well, the center one for sure, and then I guess the right one.
Okay, so the one that I have in the center on my notes is Belmond's, and the one on the right would be the one that had just got mocked. Excellent. They will make saving throws against your grease. I think the grease is traditionally dexterity based, so I'm just going to roll that for them. If they fail, they will become greasementals. I think that'll be a fail. Yeah. Excellent. So you cast your cloud of grease over these spinning cyclones, and sure enough, they catch it and pick it up, spinning around in their dust. Their like physical bodies are covered in this kind of blacky, inky grease, and they slow down, and you are pretty sure that they will become more vulnerable to regular weaponry. Excellent! Well done! That brings us around to Belmont. Belmont, you're facing down with this newly formed Greasemental. What will you do?
He's gonna try and take advantage of the new form that they are in and try to slash the one in the middle down.
Alright. Your battle hacks will strike through cleanly. Go ahead and roll me damage. 14 points of damage. You'll cleave through, this time easily, like, striking the creature in the center of this cyclone, sending its grease and dust and wind flying in a satisfying as it splits down on the ground around you, and there is no longer a creature threatening you.
I think at the end then, everyone can see whatever essence made out or magic made out of these creatures kind of seeps into Pelmond as he gets temporary HP.
Nice.
From killing it.
Alright, you gain some temporary HP, and that goes over to Wandel. Wandel, you are facing down a non-Greasemental. This one did not hit up Taco Bell on the day of. Go ahead and give me an action. What are you doing?
Okay. The attacks don't seem to be as effectful. I think I'm just going to take a dodge action. I'm trying to focus on evading the wind as good as possible, and hope that the wind doesn't decide to like go over to a blind companion over there. A question: I dropped the spear to cast my spell. Can I pick it up if I don't move?
Sure.
Or is this? Okay.
No worries. You pick up your spear and you take the dodge action. Excellent. Melody, you too now are facing down a Greasemental. What shall you do?
Okay, so I'm blinded. Can you make a sword attack while blind? It's just like disadvantage or something? Or is it
yes,
just-
you can still attack while blinded. Here,
Okay.
Let me get you. I'll read you the exact condition from 5e so that you can be aware of exactly what's going on. A blinded creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires light. Or, I'm sorry, requires sight. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. That is the text of the blinded condition.
Okay. Can I draw a shield and a sword? Probably just one of the two, right?
I'm certain that you are able to. Oh, actually, if you didn't have your shield on, that's the one thing in 5e that actually takes a round to put on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Melody is blind, and now he's getting, like, slapped and spitted out with some weird, foul-smelling grease stuff. He's like, what's that? It smells awful. Back! Get away! You're gross! And he swings his sword violently in front of him, hoping to do some sort of damage.
All right. Excellent.
Disadvantage.
No, you swing and swing with your longsword, trying to find what this creature is that smells so bad all of a sudden, but you don't find purchase with any of your blows. All right. Now we have the elementals' turns. We will deal with the non-Greasemental first. Because this one is going to attempt to recharge its thing it hasn't gotten to use yet, and still doesn't, and will continue attacking you, this time with... I actually don't remember how to do the 2d20 thing. I'm just going to roll twice, because that's easy for me. The first attack will be a 20, the second a 9. So the 20 is the one with advantage that will strike you. You will take an additional d4 plus 2 slashing.
Wait, this is the non-grease elemental,
This is
right?
the non-grease element. Oh no, this is
That's
this. Okay, yes, you're correct.
That's my opponent. I have the dodge action.
You do have the dodge action. That one misses you. You are correct. I got who was fighting who mixed up. You're right. The non-grease elemental reaches out with its dusty hands, trying to strike at Wandel, but it cannot do so. It is a disadvantage. You duck and dodge and dive and dip and throw a wrench at it, and eventually get out of the way. The grease elemental is slower and has been. I don't think it gets to try to do any more dusty related things, but it will reach out with its claws with advantage against Melody. And it attacks with a 19. That one will strike you.
That's a hit.
You will take an additional 5 points of damage from the grease elemental
Ouch, ouch,
reaching
ouch.
out and striking you. Excellent. That is
2
all.
HP.
That is all for the elementals' turns, and that brings us to Tad's. You see your spell work to great success. One of them is defeated. What do you do now?
Tats will once again blow over an icy kiss at the grease elemental, trying to. Her thought is that since it's like now red, it's liquid. So if you didn't freeze it over it, maybe it like gets stuck on the ground.
Maybe.
We will see what happens. But,
Go ahead and roll to hit for me. No,
There we go.
once again, even if with its reduced speed, it flies away from you, unable to strike it effectively with your ice. Belmont, you have destroyed one of these creatures. 2 of them remain. What do you do?
I'll turn towards the one fighting Melody, the grease monster, and rush in and try and interpose myself between the monster and Melody, if possible, if there's enough space there.
Okay,
And change places.
You try to change places with Melody, thrusting yourself in front of this greasy boy. Excellent.
Yeah, and of course taking a hit. Trying to hit it, of course.
Oh, okay,
Well,
and of course trying to hit it. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Roll to hit for me. That 24 will do
Ooh.
it. The dice are hot. For 12 slashing damage, you once again slice through the creature. A very nice and satisfying through the grease. But this one still manages to turn as it goes, as it continues reaching out its greasy hands. Excellent. Wandel, you have dipped, ducked, dived, and dodged away from this dust elemental. What will you do?
Yes, I noticed that Melody has gotten hit, but he isn't down yet, and I think these. I will continue to dodge and wait.
All right.
For the moment.
Continuing to dodge and wait. Melody, you're blinded, but you feel somebody like shoving you out of the way and like getting in between you and
excuse
whatever
me,
you're
friend.
fighting. Yeah.
Excuse me, friend. I'm just trying to survive here. And I'm just gonna lash out again with the sword. I don't think there's.
Totally forgot you
I
were
don't-
blinded.
Yeah, I don't think I can cast heroism on myself. Maybe it'd be cool if I
don't
could.
think you can. I think heroism is allies, but let me double check her. Heroism. A willing creature you touch is imbued with bravery. I think you can touch yourself.
Oh, okay. The description I have it just says a creature of your choice that you can see within range. Oh wait, no, I clicked
Can't
healing,
see yourself.
healing word.
Yeah.
I did it dumb.
A willing creature you touch is imbued with bravery. I think that
Right.
you can be a willing creature
Okay.
and you can touch yourself, so I think you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think I better do that. So I'm gonna cast healing word, and he's going to like shakily break into a tune. Hold on. Do. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. And
The last line
add a
sells it
1d4.
perfect. Excellent. Your shaky tune heals
Wait, no,
you.
I don't roll for that. It's just 4 temp HP added.
Yes, for temporary HP. I'm sorry, I got mixed up for a half moment. I thought you were healing wording yourself, but you are heroisming yourself. Yes, gain your temporary HP. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. That brings us around to some elementals' turns. The first elemental will continue trying to. Oh, actually, this one's still dusty. Still just gets to claw. It will attack Wandel, and it doesn't get to crit you, Wandel, but it does get the 20. Reaching out with its dusty hands and ripping into you for 5 points of damage.
Fill up.
And the Grease Elemental loses its ability to fight with its extra abilities, but it will attack. And yes, Belmont Bronze Hand has shoved his way in, putting himself between Melody and this creature, and he will be the target of its attacks with a 14. I'm not sure if that'll hit you.
That one misses.
That one misses.
With my
Perfect.
scale mail.
Nice. Your scale mail protects you. It rips and claws with its greasy hand, but it's just too wet and not good enough to get it done. Excellent. That is their turn. And Tads, you see this happening. What do you do?
That moves 10 feet closer, so is now within 30 feet of the elementals, and will cast once more one of her patented icy kisses. He casts Ray of Frost once more.
Excellent.
Maybe this time. There we go.
That one
Finally.
will finally hit. Yes. Are you targeting the greasy elemental or the dusty one?
The greasy one.
Excellent. For 1 point of cold damage. Excellent. There is a slowing effect, yes, on Ray of Frost?
Movement is reduced by 10 feet.
Movement is reduced, right. Perfect. I always remember that Ray of Frost does a thing, but no one ever uses it in my games, so I forget what it does all the time. Excellent. And that brings us to Belmont. You are fighting this Grease Elemental. It's been kissed very lovingly for 1 point of damage on its neck. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and kiss it with my axe.
Nice. And you do.
Oh my God.
For 11 slashing damage, enough to fell the creature. Once again, the grease just explodes in a little pop, and the wind rushes around you. The grease falls on the floor around you, and it dies. Excellent.
How far away is the last remaining?
Yeah,
Wind
within a
elemental?
movement if you wanted. You are all kind of close together when it rushed up to you.
Yeah, I wanna close the distance and get close enough
All right.
for my next turn.
Absolutely. You close the distance to the remaining dust elemental. Excellent. That brings us to Wandel. You've been dodging. It finally got you, though. What do you do?
The problem is that I don't really have anything that's effective. So, what I will do is, since it's a bonus action, I will cast Healing Word on myself.
Okay.
And let me find the button for it. 4 HP back.
All right.
And I will still continue to dodge, since that was only a bonus action.
And continue to dodge. Excellent. Melody, what do you do? You're blinded
The
and
one
heroic.
in front of me is down, right?
It is.
Okay. And I am blind.
You are.
So I think I'm just gonna heroically be blind in place and generally useless. Because I don't want to feel my way out with my longsword and poke a friend. So.
All right. You strike a pose heroically.
I'll just kind of like dance in place and kind of keep the tune. I need a hero.
Very good. Very good.
I think I get 4 more temp HP. I think it's an every turn thing.
It doesn't
think
stack,
it replaces them.
replenishes, right?
Oh,
so
okay, I see.
You gain 4 temporary HP, and should you be hit, and that goes away, it goes back up to 4.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Clouds,
Excellent.
just wash the dust out of your eyes, you idiot.
It's just a flat like minute, right? It's not.
It is a
something I
it's a
can try and
minute.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know that though.
Excellent. That brings us around to the final remaining creature. It has a choice of people to attack, and it will choose to continue attacking Wandel. And it will roll to charge its dusty powers and fail. So it will continue attacking. This one is not a Grease Elemental, so it gets its full attack bonus. And it attacks an 8. An 8's enough. That is not going to do it. Wandel dips, ducks, dodges, and dives out of the way. Bringing us over to Tads. You see your teammates converging upon this lone Dust Devil. What do you do?
Tats will run 30 feet onto it and try to step in with a dagger.
All right. You dagger the creature.
Any minute now.
No, your 6 does not do it for you. You try to stab the spinning wind creature, but it does not. Does not
Then
take
she
hold.
moves 10. Then she moves 10 feet away.
All right, you moved in and you're mobile. Mobile precludes attack of opportunity, correct?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. All right, excellent. You duck in, take a stab, duck back out, and it is now Belmont's turn. You're standing here next to this spinning beast. What do you do?
Yeah, I wanna kind of position myself so that I'm flanking him, but I'm not sure, are we using flanking rules or not?
No, we're not using the flanking rules, but it's good flavor. I don't mind.
Yeah, good. Just for flavor, he goes on the opposite side and tries to
Excellent.
hit it.
Oh, you crit the creature. Very nice. For 16.
been rolling so high.
have.
Unfortunately, you once again find your axe being less effective than you would otherwise expect it to be against this dusty creature. No longer gaining the benefit of that grease from earlier. But you do strike a strong blow against it.
Oh, that's my turn.
All right, excellent. Wandel, you continue your dip, duck, dive, and dodge as your teammates stab at this thing. What do you do?
As long as I can distract it, it's alright. So I will continue to do so. The spear will not do anything. I don't have any damage bonus on that, so we will continue the dance.
All right, continuing the dance of dodging. Very good. Melody, you are continuing to strike your heroic pose.
2 of us are just like dancing while the others are fighting.
The dance party. Excellent.
Yeah, while I'm blind, there's nothing else I can do. And I just want to point out, it just says gains temporary hit points equal to. It doesn't say anything about limit, but if that's your ruling, then cool.
The way temporary hit points work is they do not stack. So in the rules, you cannot, if you have temporary hit points and then you gain more temporary hit points, you will take the higher number, right? You don't get 4 and 5 is 9, you get 5.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. All right. So that brings us back around to the Dust Devils. Oh my god, it did it. Okay, the Dust Devil spins up and it begins to cause little cyclones around itself. And suddenly they begin picking up dust as well. And it summons forth 2 more smaller copies of itself. They begin to pick up speed around you. They will be near. Oh, this one will be near Tads, and the other one forms itself near Melody. as these smaller versions of the creature pick up speed, pick up dust, and then begin forming smaller versions of the devil in front of you. Excellent. Tads, you see this happening. One of these small creatures has formed in front of you. What do you do?
I stab it with my dagger, and then afterwards, no matter the outcome, run away for 40 feet.
Excellent.
Roll20 seems to be having a bad day here.
It does seem to be having a bad day. Your dagger does not strike the creature. It seems you've given all of your rolls to Belmont. You whip at it with your dagger and then turn and run, trying to get as far from it as you can. Excellent. That brings us to Belmont. You are facing down this main creature as it has summoned others. What do you do?
Hoping that they get desummoned. If this one dies, I'm gonna try and continue attacking it.
All right, you continue attacking it. This time, though, your axe does not strike the creature. Its air-like properties lets it dance out of your grasp, and you cannot hit it. All right.
That's my turn.
Wandel, you've continued to the dance, but now you see that there are other creatures being spawned. What do you do?
I have Belmont's hope, but seeing that my spear will not do much, that Belmont is there now, I will disengage. Cannot do anything. I will just disengage and move back my full movement. And hope that I can assist the next turn with my fire.
All right. You disengage and duck back. Melody, you're blind, but you hear the sounds of something next to you. It sounds windy and dusty and cackly. What do you do?
It's right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like attack of opportunity next to me if I move.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You're blind. Who knows? Maybe your hearing's not that good.
This is not ideal.
No.
If you can't see it, it probably can't see you either, right?
Right. That's what I heard. You know, the kindergartner I talked to the other day at my cousin's party was very convinced that was true.
Melody does not believe this. I think he's just gonna continue his dance, and he hears the thing right next to him, so he's gonna dance along with his longsword sticking out, and hopefully he hits something.
All right, go ahead and roll to hit with disadvantage.
Right, longsword, and he'll do it two-handed.
Okay.
Because it's an action to equip the shield. And disadvantage. Submit.
Oh,
Hey!
but you strike out. Your healing is quite good, and you rip at the creature.
Wait.
Just click the where it says longsword two-handed underneath the roll. You can mouse over that. It'll turn red. Click that. It'll roll the damage.
I'll just roll 1d10.
All right. Oh, look at that. It looks like there's some kind of error in the character sheet. All right, yeah, go ahead and roll d10.
That would be at a +3.
4 points of damage. You rip at the creature, and it is slightly less effective than you think it might be. Except you're blind, so you're not sure. But you hit something, and it does some damage. Very good. Very good. Excellent. It is now the spinning devil's turn. The main spinning devil is no longer has a dancing druid to try to kill, so it will turn its attention over to Belmont. Belmont, it reaches out its hand with a 12, unable to strike you. The one that was near Taz is no longer near Taz, and it only has 30 feet of movement, so it is going to move up at the druid instead. Unable to move 40 feet, it can match the movement speed of the druid, and it will reach out its little hand to strike at you. With a 7, not enough. Melody, you are locked in blind combat with these small creatures, and it begins to reach out its hands towards you with an 8 and a 10. Neither one, I think, is able to hit you.
I'm dancing around too much.
You're dancing around too much. The Song of Heroism is too inspiring. And that brings us to Tads. You have gotten some distance away from these creatures. What do you do?
Well, once more, she leans backwards, forms the trumpet with her right hand, and then spits out a bunch of grease onto the creatures, trying to do what she did before, trying to hit whoever two dust creatures are next to each other. Or, alternatively, if the big one is not next to one of the small ones, then only the large one. And then she shouts, Belmont, do the thing that you did earlier!
All right, you grease. And I rolled to see if the big one was next to either of the other ones, and it is not. So you will be targeting. It sounds like the main dust devil, and it will make a d20 roll. Oh, it has the same roll as the attack of these small creatures. Oh, and it fails. You have once again created a Taco Bell elemental. And yes, very good. It spins and turns with grease. Blah. Excellent. Belmont, you hear the shout of your teammate, and you see the devil in front of you get blackened and turn into grease. What will you do?
I'm gonna try and follow Dad's advice and see if I can finish it off.
All right, excellent. Please roll to hit. Oh, but with a 10, you are unable to strike the creature cleanly. It rolls back away from your axe, not allowing you to get clean purchase. Excellent. Wandel, one of these small creatures is raced up next to you. What do you do?
I'm not sure if this is a good idea or a very bad one, but if I hit the thing with fire, what happens?
Suddenly you have a Christmas tree on fire, I think.
If Belmont can deal with... Yeah, but hopefully it will take some damage while it's on fire. So what I will do, I will not disengage. I will take my movement back from the smaller dust elemental, getting an attack of opportunity.
Okay. It will reach out with its small clawed hand and attack you with a 12.
Nope.
Not enough.
14.
You walk right past it.
And I will drop my spear again and cast Produce Flame. And I mean, I will do the movement so that I'm on range for the Produce Flame.
Okay.
And then I will hurl a Mote of Flame at it.
All right. You hurl a mote of
And will not
flame.
hit.
Oh, but unfortunately, you are unable to strike the creature. A gust of its windy cyclone kicks up at just the right moment and tosses your flame away. All right. Melody, you are in blind combat. What will you do?
If I do well enough with this, can I get blind fighting?
I don't think you can get blind fighting from a single combat.
Longsword. Just
Alright.
doing what I can.
Doing
I hit
what
it
you
once,
can.
so maybe I'll hit a little harder this time. Disadvantage. How many rounds has it been? It hasn't been 10, I know, but
This is round, I believe, 6.
okay.
9. Unfortunate. No. All right. That brings us to the creature's turns. This has been a longer combat than I anticipated, but hey. This thing is now greased. It has many less options. It will just continue to attack Belmont here, and will do so at -1 for grease. 17 against Belmont. Will that do it?
That one will.
That one will. All right. And it will reach its claw out and scrape at you with its now greasy hand for a total of 5 points of damage. The small one now has a choice. It could try to go after Taz, or it could try to return to Wandel. And it returns to Wandel and will reach out its hand at you, like, get over here, kind of, but missing. And the final one will make attacks at the Blinded Melody. The 18 will hit, but it does not crit, sadly. And will do to you a simple d4 of damage for 2 points of damage.
Oh, D4 damage? Okay, there is hope.
There is hope. All right, that...
Oh, I need to make a con save now.
You do need to make a concentration saving throw, yes. DC 10.
Okay, that is D20 plus 1. I'll just do it this way since... Nice.
You nailed it. Yeah. All right, excellent. That brings us to Tads. What will you do?
Kiss towards the big one and then move 20 feet away.
Okay. Oh, your Ray of Frost is unable to strike at this creature. It uses its winds well to bash away your ranged magics. You move your movement away once again, keeping a nice distance. And that brings us to Belmont, locked in combat with this thing.
Gonna keep continuing doing the same thing. Hopefully hitting this time.
All right. You do. For 12 points of damage, you slice through this greasy elemental. It explodes again. The grease flatters at the end, and you see these smaller dust devils that had spawned begin to slow their turn and eventually disappear. You are once again left in the calm, howling fields in the mid-afternoon sun.
Did I get it? Did I get it?
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes! Oh, the song about this will be grand indeed. How long am I going to be like this? I can't see. I don't like it. And he's like rubbing his eyes and just like puts his sword down on the ground and tries not to step on it.
After a minute passes, your sight returns, and you can once again see.
Okay. And let's see. After a minute, heroism drops. Only got one spell slot left, so I think he's gonna hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's just chilling at 2 HP. Not great.
Not great.
Out of character, I would be very curious what would have happened if I had hit that with the fire. But you cannot have everything. In character.
Next time.
I would look around, seeing like if anyone else is badly hurt. See Melody barely holding on, probably. Belmont is somewhat hurt.
Yeah.
On half HP.
We should take a short rest, right? Catch our breath.
All right. You spend 10 minutes binding up some wounds, eating maybe some small light rations or whatever, having a drink from your barrels of water, and you spend the 10 minutes resting. You are allowed any spell slots or class features associated with a short rest in the player's handbook. You may also spend up to 1/2 of your total hit dice pool rounded up to regain HP.
Yeah, Tats spends most of her short rest in contemplation as she tries to recover some of her arcane powers.
Mm-hmm.
4 HP.
Nice.
What's your max?
Oh wait, I have a 1 con bonus. Does
yeah.
con get added to that? Okay.
I
So
believe
5
you
HP.
when you click on your hit dice, the roll
Oh, it does.
includes the con bonus.
It already
Oh,
added
did it?
the con.
Okay.
Yeah, so you actually just rolled a 1 plus 1.
Oh my god. Strong start.
Very.
How long will the temporary HP last? Because it doesn't
That's
say
alright.
in the
It's gone.
ability. No, I mean for myself, because I get one
Oh.
as well after I kill a creature.
My bad.
As far as I know, it only lasts a short time. I think
I
it's
think it lasts till
combat.
the next short rest, if I'm
But
not
let
mistaken.
me
So
let me look it up. It's the Dark One's blessing, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, but
Um,
it doesn't say a duration, so I'm gonna look at base.
Yeah, I'll look that up for you. Dark One's blessing. You would think that after all the warlocks I've had in my games, I would know all of their little skills and tricks.
unless a creature grants temporary hit points has a duration, it lasts until it's depleted or until you finish a long rest. So it sticks around till the night.
Okay, so until we sleep, pretty much then.
Yep. Until depleted or a long rest. Yep.
Nice.
Big chillin'.
I do not suppose there's anything apart from dust now lying around after these have died. Well, dust and grease.
Dust and grease, mostly dust and grease. Yeah, you take a look around, but unfortunately, these particular dust devils were not carrying any treasure with them.
That would be a treasure
Rolling
element.
coins would hurt.
Yes, perhaps next time there should be a gold coin elemental. It hits you with flying metals. But no, these ones were not carrying treasure or anything particularly of note.
Let's we'll look at the grease in some slight curiosity to see whether the prolonged exposure to wind from all directions does something to the grease. Probably pretty boring.
Yeah, I think you look at the grease and it doesn't reveal much to you, right? Like it coated these creatures, but it still looks like the grease that you've produced in your magic plenty of times. Doesn't seem to have changed in appearance or substance overly much, if at all.
She nods silently to herself, thinking, that's what I thought.
Very good. So, after your short rest is concluded, what's the plan? You're still in the kind of mid to late afternoon here as you've made your way through the Howling Fields. You have some light left. Are you continuing on for your day? What's the plan, gang?
The keep is like long gone in our line of sight right now, right?
Very much so, yes.
Okay. I think we just press on for the rest of the day. Keep an eye out for a good spot to camp. Hopefully, we don't run into any more danger.
We just have put Belmont in front, and hopefully that will work.
All right, you begin.
And keep going.
You begin pushing forward north and east once more through the Howling Fields. The rest of your day goes by without much in the way of encounters or oddities, and eventually you find the sun setting and it is time for night. What do you do when you camp? What is the mood like? How do you set up camp? Give me a little tell of what the party's doing here on their first night in the Howling Fields.
That's just looking at her stuff from all sides, thinking, well, the grease scene worked really well, but like our frost spells, they didn't work at all. Something must be off with this. But yeah, she looks into her stuff, tries to tap at it from all the kinds of directions. Nothing reveals to itself. It's like, this is strange.
Melody will ask, so what, looking at the splatters on his leather armor and his clothes, so what was in that grease exactly?
I don't really know. I haven't found a book on it. It's just sort of one grease and suddenly there's grease. I thought like maybe now that there's some endothermic reaction with the wind, that it would reveal something of its contents. And I know that sometimes it burns if you wanted to, but that's about all I know.
Okay, yeah. While I was blinded, I was getting wet and there was a foul odor, and I'm just very glad this is not liquefied excrement all over me. So
This time. I hope. I don't actually know. Maybe it is.
Oh,
Wait,
Fine.
no,
Takes
those,
out
wouldn't,
bars.
those wouldn't
No
burn.
enemies out there.
Melody takes out a bar of soap and he starts like scrubbing away at this, like using a little bit of water from his water skin, just like, oh no, this will not do.
Wait, on second thought, those wouldn't burn, right? So it can't be that.
Whatever it is,
I
I'm
saw
thinking it.
some of it. Never mind. I'm probably checking like for a good campsite in the perimeter. If there's anything out there.
All right. And so camp is made for the night. During the evening, each of you take your watches, and early on into the night, it is Tads who is on this particular watch. And while you are, contemplating your magics and thinking of why your ice was particularly ineffective, you hear an unearthly howl in the night, near enough that it causes your hackles to rise, but not so close as that you can see it. And then you hear growling and another responding howl, but one that seems less natural than even the first. And you hear the sounds of fighting and animals, not the clash of steel, but the growl and snarl of something more natural nearby, but not next to the camp and not within your line of sight. What do you do as you hear this going down?
Tats is very intelligent, but not particularly wise. So I think she would just cast a minor illusion of a rock on top of her and just wait, but not disturb the sleep of other people around her.
All right. You cast a rock and you wait. How long do you wait?
Is it like constant fighting sounds?
You
Or
hear
like,
it. It
there-
seems
there's
to
an
be
interlude
going
of silence
on,
in between?
and there's quite a loud bit of snarling and growling. A couple of howls. There seems to be the sounds of quite a pitched thing going on.
Does she perceive that the sounds are coming closer, or is it just
It
off
doesn't
in
sound like
distance?
it's coming closer, but it does sound like it is nearby.
Is the fire still going?
Sure. Yeah, campfires tend to be going. I would imagine maybe they burn down some over the course of the night, but, keeping yourself warm is a thing.
I think Tats would at least wait for 5 minutes, but then if it's still going on at that point, probably tip Wandle
All right.
ahead with her staff, like really impolitely, just directly on his forehead, being like, "Yo,
The
something
fight
up here."
The fight goes on a few minutes, in fact, but probably not 5. That's something on the order of 50 rounds of combat. It doesn't quite last that long. Eventually, after a few minutes pass, the sounds begin to die down. You hear whimpering, as if you've heard a wounded or kicked dog in an alleyway. And as you watch from your hidden stone, you see a great winged creature, silhouetted in the black sky, seemingly carrying these corpses of these big wolves in its claws as it flies overhead of your party, rolling a natural 1 to notice you, and
Like how
leaving
close?
the party. Yeah.
How close does it fly? I'm not sure Tats would see it. She doesn't have dark vision. Is
you-
it close enough to be actually is the fire like illuminating it in some?
It's
to some
a
extent, or-
clear night with the stars and the moonlight, and the fire is here. For the intents and purposes of Tads, this is in dim light. It's hard to make out, and you don't see very many features nor much, but the large dark shape flying overhead, with the outlines, you do make out.
I guess Tats would then actually club Mel awake and say, "Hey, song material."
Huh? What?
Point towards
You
the
need a
winged
song?
creature.
Just.
Oh,
Wait, what?
look there.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, I'm glad it's not coming here. And he just kind of watches it, Yes, you're right. I will write a song about this later. I will sleep
But I
on it.
thought-
And he just like tries to go back to sleep. Probably a little concerned. He's
Wait,
hurt.
1 second.
What?
Mel, how did you forage though?
You
Something
cut out
was
for a
missing.
second. Sorry.
The Tats will be like, oh, by the way, Mel, how did your foraging go? Because I think we're still missing a foraging roll.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll,
yeah.
we'll deal with that at the end of the night.
Okay. Undetermined is his response.
TBD. All right. With that, the rest of the night will go by without any encounters. And we have completed a night's rest out in the wilderness. So, let us do some accounting. You have all traveled for an entire day. I am going to want foraging rolls. I will usually go for survival wisdom unless there's some other skill you'd like to try to use in place of your survival wisdom. You traveled at a medium pace, so you will forage at food with disadvantage on the day. So what I want to know is how much water you have on your donkeys. Like, what have you strapped to these mules?
Everyone should have a water skin, and we have 2 days of water for everyone, and like mules plus every one of us.
Okay. So the way I'm going to rule these barrels is, unless you are traveling with just obscene amounts of water, they're just water skins that will die throughout the day. So I want to know how many gallons of water you've put in here. If you put a full 40-gallon barrel, we'll deal with it. But if you have just a few gallons, like if you have a day's worth of water, it's essentially just a heavy water skin.
Okay.
How much is
The
it?
idea was 8 gallons of water in each barrel.
So you have 16 gallons of water.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's fine. So I'm going to mark 16 here. So just in general, I don't want to play halfsies with the water. If you're gonna strap barrels of water to your donkeys, just in the future and for chat, fill them up. to fill them up and make it happen. I will. This is better than the we brought exactly 1 day's water. Go ahead and give me your foraging rolls, and we'll see if you have to dip into this water at all.
Could Tats use nature since she has been here at this exact same spot just a month ago and had time to read into what happened since then?
I'm happy with a nature roll. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you're at disadvantage anyway, so that won't matter too much. So who am I missing here? I've got. Oh, give me disadvantage there, Belmont.
Okay.
All right, you succeed. For the first day's travel, you spent most of your time going through the small towns and fields and farmland on the way up to the Howling Fields. So your DC for your forage check is 10. So Belmont and Melody, you were managed to get successes. You can mark off enough water to refill your water skins for the party, and you have found food for yourselves. You do not need to mark off any rations. You've also found time for up to 2 of your animals to feed, and so we don't need to mark any feed for them. However, Wendell and Tads, you have both failed to find any food for yourselves, so we'll need 2 pounds of rations marked off for each of you.
And I can
going
mark
to
that
mark
off of my meal first, so you
Oh,
guys
that's
can...
fine.
Yeah.
Here's my hit die just for formality reasons.
Yep. And then you get to rest. So if you have any hit dice left to spend from your pool, you can spend them now to regain HP. You are also allowed to regain any spells or class features associated with a long rest in the player's handbook.
Was 7. There we go.
All right. So your first day out in the excuse me, your first day out in the Howling Fields has come to an end. We are at the beginning of the second day. Navigator, are we going the same way? What is the intended route, and what is the pace you'll be traveling today?
We wanted to explore, so we're still going I mean, we probably went like east, like enough into the eastern direction, so we're probably going straight north.
Okay.
At normal pace.
Okay. At a normal pace once again. Go ahead and give me a navigation roll. Navigation in the Howling Fields is very flat and open, is DC 10. You can roll advantage for being an Outlander.
Nope.
Ooh, you are not. Tell me, Wandel, what is it about today's travel that was particularly difficult? How is it that your navigation was less successful than it was before?
I mean, you notice that he doesn't. I don't really look around while navigating. I just somehow know where I'm going. But this time there were like these unnatural noises. I wasn't awake for them, but I probably had a very disturbed sleep and still linger somewhat. So I'm very distracted, and I'm feeling all kinds of stuff, and not really sure where we're going at that point. Okay. So I'm just kind of trying to make sense of it all, but it doesn't quite work.
All right. You are trying to make sense of everything in your sleep and leading your party through the Howling Fields. And as you do so, it is 1, 2, 3. It is Melody. You are following along, getting led through the Howling Fields. When you notice through the long grasses heading your way, there are large axe beaks making like a line towards you. These big birds, about as tall as a man, with a big flat axe-like beak, and they begin at first just kind of moving about in the fields. You don't really pay much mind to them, but eventually they seem to pick up on the fact that you are there, and you see these creatures racing through the grasslands towards the party. What do you do as you see this?
Melody immediately strikes a pose with his large rippling muscles, and he flexes really hard to get like a nice little glisten of sweat going, and says, "Stand back, friends. Actually, I'm hurt a lot. Wherever you are, danger is approaching. I shall inspire us with song." And he starts singing "Holding Out for Your Hero" again, because that is a very inspiring
It's a very inspiring song. It worked so well the first time. Why not do it again?
Right.
Yeah.
And he will, I think, Bardic Inspiration is a one at a time thing. Who is in front of us facing these X beats?
I will let you decide that here. Why don't we go over to this screen here? Go ahead and put yourselves in whatever marching order that you desire, heading north.
Okay.
I think I would be leading one of the mules at least, so.
Okay, absolutely.
We are going north. I would be leading my mule.
All right.
Realistically, I'm somewhat ahead, right? If I'm navigating.
That's me.
Sure?
I have the Rouge
Which
token.
generic token was I?
You're this like magey fellow, I believe.
Okay, that's the one I had last time too, so.
Okay.
All right, excellent. So you begin singing, and I guess it's Belmond who's right next to you.
Okay. And these axe beaks are approaching from the north?
They are approaching from the north and from the east. You see these creatures. I'll put them on the map, I suppose. Whoa, they're not that big. They're man-sized. All right.
I was like,
uh-oh. You see that they are moving through the long grasses. Apparently, they're just giant. And they are moving 2 from the east and 2 from kind of up northeast, coming through this long grass, racing towards you. Just as so.
Okay, so I'm going to give my first Bardic Inspiration die to... I'm sorry,
Wandel?
Wandel, yeah. Since Wandel is kind of like out on their own a little bit. probably needs it a little more immediately. And
Okay.
that's like any skill checks and attack rolls, correct?
That is correct.
Remind me what it does exactly.
It allows you to roll a Bardic Inspiration die, which I believe at level 1 is a d6, and add it to the result of any attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, I believe. Or maybe it's just attack roll and ability check. College of Swords gives you damage and saving throws.
Right.
Saving throws. I'm not
D6.
sure what.
Yeah. Ability check, attack roll, saving throw.
Okay, it does give you saving throws. Okay, there you go.
Okay,
One of them
use
gives
a
you
D20
something
for?
else along with damage. All right, so you spend your turn alerting the party and giving yourself a Bardic Inspiration die. And with that, let us roll into some initiative. The Axe Beaks will go at 10. If you'll click your tokens before you roll, it will automatically put you in here, which is quite nice.
And that is how it works. Good to know.
1, 2, 3, 4. Am I missing somebody? Aha! Very nicely done. So the first to react is, of course, our good friend. I believe that is, yes, Tads. What do you do as you see these axe beaks pointed out to you, rushing towards the party?
Flying, right?
No, they
Are they
run on the
walking?
ground like a big ostrich. Like these
Oh,
would be
I
like running birds.
Okay. I guess Cats would reposition herself towards here, and then prepare casting Asha's Hideous Laughter, or Tats's Hideous Laughter, if you will, if a creature approaches, or like is close to entering a square next to
All right.
one of her allies.
You prepare Tasha's Hideous Laughter as you step back away from the creatures. Excellent. Our Bard Melody is the next to react here. What do you do?
All right, let me take a look at my spells to check a range real quick. It's 20-foot radius. I think I can draw a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Draw a shape. And hold Alt for circle. So we'll start. That is not. Nope. Nope. Need to do that in. Oh. Fucking up.
You can draw a square. I don't care. We work in squares.
Now that I stopped, though, I don't think I can stretch it. But draw a shape. Hold Alt. There we go. So 5, 10, 15, 20. That's radius, 25, 30, 35, 40. And that's bigger than I thought. That's about right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to set this here and cast Sleep. So he has this like loud, inspiring song, and then he like switches over and softly sings "Rock-a-bye Baby in the Treetop," etc., and just kind of does a little trill with his pan flute. I think as he's weaving his magic, his pan flute acts like it has kind of a repeater machine, so the music keeps going, so he can sing along with the music accompaniment.
I like it. Okay. The magic repeating pan flute machine. You gotta love it. Go ahead and roll me some hit points of creatures that you affect.
Yes. It's 5d8.
24. Your magic goes off, and you see this far creature fall asleep, which will be a good sleepy. He's got this. He's asleep. The rest of them, though, continue their rush towards you. Excellent.
Okay, I'll get rid of the circle.
And that brings us to Wandel. What will you do?
I will do something similar. I will move a bit back. Wait, if I can select my
Inspiration is a
token again.
bonus action, so I'm gonna give that to the dwarf next to me, real quick.
Okay. Absolutely. You bardically inspire Belmont as well.
There we go.
Okay, I'm moving a bit closer, so in case I want to be able to assist on melee attacks, but I will first cast Entangle. I'm not about to draw a square here, but bottom two are within 20 feet of each other and should be able to be entangled by the grasses. And sorry?
I am not entirely sure that's true. 5, 10, 15, 20.
I did
10,
within
15,
25.
20. There you go. There's a 20-foot square. Go ahead and put that where you think Entangle's gonna go.
Okay, then you know what? We'll wait with that until they're closer. And
yeah,
instead,
see, I don't quite think that square is gonna get them.
No, I mean,
Unless
if
you, like, put it
would
in
do the
between
half time,
squares.
then they would probably get advantage. Let's not deal with that. I'll wait until they're closer.
Do you want to try
I
to
just
put it
miscounted.
in there like that?
No, I just miscounted the squares.
Okay.
I started the arrow one too low.
Mm.
Well, I'm just going to cast Produce Flame at the closest one, like the one just east of me.
You want over here?
And I can add my Bardic Inspiration to that, right?
On an attack
roll.
roll. Yep, absolutely.
Do I need to do this before, or can I do it after?
I guess you can roll to hit and then add the d6 if you want.
I don't know
mind.
the AC of those.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Before he tells you whether it hits or not, then you can decide.
I don't know the AC of those, so I'm generally guessing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I'm just rolling this. Yeah, I'm definitely rolling my...
Gonna roll the d6. All right. So you throw the flame with a 15 combined, and you hit the creature. Please roll me some damage. 5 points of fire damage. All right, you hear the creature unleash a squawking sound, unlike anything you've ever heard. It's weird and throaty and sharp sounding, but it continues racing towards you. Excellent. Well done. Axe Beaks are here. This one's asleep. And they have a lot of movement. So let's see here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And then it'll double move. And it will come up to you, Wandel. It is now within range of one of your allies. Would you like to cast your spell?
Yeah, when it was here. Then Katz's hideous laughter goes off.
All right.
Specifically, she points towards this creature and makes a silent giggling motion while she goes through the incantations, makes the sounds, and then you have to roll me a friendly DC 14.
All right,
wisdom
so
saving
you
throw.
cast Tasha's hideous laughter at this creature, but unfortunately for you, it seems to ignore your spell entirely. In fact, its intelligence score is lower than that required to be targeted by the spell. So you cast your spell expecting your magics to slow or to stop this creature in its tracks, but it just keeps rushing up towards your ally. Unfortunate. All right. This one has used its double move, but this one can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and it will get right here. And Belmond, you are the one that this would like to attack first. And it is going to get you with a mighty beak attack. Or 15 might not hit you.
That one misses.
That one misses.
16, 18.
Excellent. And the final creature is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 feet. And it will attack Melody.
Ruh-roh.
Melody, you are struck with an 18.
That hits.
That
I
hits.
have 4 HP.
It chops into you with its axe-like beak for 7 slashing damage.
And I go down, and thankfully sleep is not concentration.
Sleep is not concentration. That is correct. Excellent. Belmont, you see these axe beaks charge in to attack your companion. What do you do?
First thing he does is he casts a spell and starts chanting in this very guttural, harsh-sounding language, and casts Hex on the one who attacked him.
Oh, you have hexed them. Very nice.
Yeah, one of them. And I think I want it to be strength checks that he has disadvantage.
All right. He has disadvantage on strength checks.
Yeah, and takes extra d6 necrotic damage if I hit him.
Absolutely.
And then I will try and hit him.
That will do it. Go ahead and roll me some damage. 16 total damage. Very nicely done. It...
Well, actually, it should be one-handed because I cast a spell. I don't...
yes, that is true. That is true.
Do I roll again?
Yeah, why don't you re-roll the damage on the battle axe?
Okay.
All right, so it takes 7 total points of damage. That is all right.
It's +5 because of my strength, so...
Oh, right. Okay, 7
12.
and 12 points of damage. You strike it. You see the flash of your necrotic hex dig in deeper where your battle axe struck. But it is not enough to fell the creature, though it does appear bloodied before you. Excellent. Tads, your spell was ineffective against the creature rushing towards Wandel. What do you do?
Yeah, she senses a pattern with her spells being ineffective, but she walks over here with 35 movement, and then we'll cast Ray of Frost on the right. I think I'm just gonna write it out because.
Excellent. You
character
cast
sheet
Ray of
seems to be
Frost. The 24 will hit.
I think that's a D8 damage.
For
for points
4
of
more
frost.
points of damage. Oh, not enough to slay the creature, but you do see your frost work over its legs. It seems to be slowed. Excellent. That brings us to Melody. If you would please give me a death saving throw.
All right.
That is 1 success. Very nice. Excellent. That brings us to Wandel. You have these beasts on either side of you. What will you do?
Entangle seems enticing, but not while we have one group member down. So as a bonus action, I will cast Healing Word on Melody,
Okay.
and we'll see how good that will do. Oh, max.
Nice. Melody, you pop back to life, feeling the breath of these magic words race into you.
And I'm still, like, which... I assume the one I hot to fire at is the one that's not within my range, right?
The one
Either
that you hit with fire is right here.
Ah, okay. Then I will just stab it with my spear.
All right, you turn to stab it with your spear. Please roll to
One-handed,
hit.
because of my shield.
Ooh.
And that will definitely not hit.
No, your spear strike is unable to, like, find purchase in its feathery hide. And now it will be the creature's turn. The one that raced all the way up to you from the north will spend its turn slashing at you with its beak, Wandel, with a 8. It's not enough. This one was attacking Melody, and now Melody is alive again, and it will continue attacking Melody. Melody's on the ground.
Yeah.
It has advantage. Melody, you get hit with a 23. It strikes you for 7 slashing damage. Down you go.
Ah, my God! I live! Ah, I die!
And the final beak, it has been hexed. It's not very smart. It just keeps trying to eat you. Belmond, you are attacked with a 17. That one will do it.
Yep.
You take 4 slashing damage from this one. All right. Belmont, you've been ripped into by the beak of this creature next to you. What do you do?
Concentration check.
Well, Oh yeah, concentration.
Hex.
Oh, right. Hex is concentration, isn't it? That is a success. You are good.
I will try and... Well, actually, I'll take my axe in 2 hands now that I'm casting a spell and take a swing
Excellent. Please roll to hit.
at the one I've hexed.
That'll do
16?
it. Yup. For 12 damage, it is enough to fell the creature. It dies in a squawking fit. Ah! And falls dead. You are allowed to move your hex to another creature.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. I'll do it on the one attacking Melody.
Okay. Excellent. The one attacking Melody will take the hex. Excellent.
And this time also you see some of the life force from these creatures seep into
Right.
Belmont.
Temporary hit points.
And that's me.
Excellent. Taz, you see the creature felled by the axe of your dwarven companion. What do you do?
I think she would try to create mirror image illusion of a fireplace between those two creatures. It would not be moving, but they're not particularly intelligent, as we've established by the spell before. So she hopes to spook them with the standing image of a fire next to them.
Okay, you create fire in illusory form. Fire! Beautiful fire drawing. It's the best. I am a true artiste. Excellent. You create the illusion of a fire, hoping to spook the creatures. Melody, please make me a death saving throw.
All right.
That is
That's a
one fail. Yes.
So in case I popcorn again, are we holding on to failures for the
No.
duration of a day?
I used
Okay.
I used that for Seekers in a lot of my personal campaigns, but for this one, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
Excellent. That is your turn, and we go back to Wandel. You are surrounded by these creatures. A fireplace has appeared next to you out of nowhere. What do you do?
Not feeling any heat coming from this. I'm probably not too far. I'm wondering. That's too risky. I'm going to healing word Melody again. Yeah,
All right.
This time only for 2. So I hope won't hit. But I will try to distract this enemy below me by stabbing it again and hopefully hitting this time.
Okay. 20 will do it.
That's a hit. With 5 damage.
For 5 points of damage, your spear strikes the creature, squawks, and it is their turn, and they will roll to be scared. Give me an intimidation. What's your spellcasting modifier? You're a wizard, right? Give me an
Intelligence,
intimidation intelligence check, please, to set a DC for me.
That's an improficient intelligence check, so 13.
13. The axe beaks are undeterred by your fire. They love it. It's warming them up, getting their blood nice and hot, and they want to eat people.
Oh, no.
Excellent. So you wanted to see if this one would turn around and fight you, and Melody is back up. But it is definitely going to turn around and fight you. These two creatures, this one's going to just kind of move around to reposition itself so that it is ready to eat other people too. But they will both attack Wandel in the meantime. The first one with a 12. I don't think that'll do it. The second with a 16.
That will hit.
All right, Wandel, you are slashed by their beak for 3 points of damage.
Okay.
All right, Belmont, you see these creatures attacking your friend. They're lining themselves up right next to you too. What do you do?
I think I'm keeping up with the Warlock thing and keep doing the same thing, pretty much.
All
Instead of
right,
Eldritch Blast, I'm gonna use my axe though. So,
perfect.
on the one I hexed.
16 will hit.
I can't use Bardic Inspiration on damage, can I?
Not on damage, not unless he's a not College of Swords, what do they call it? College of Valor Bard. Which he's not yet. 10 points of damage will be enough, however, as you cleave this thing in twain from behind. The necrotic damage finishing it off. You move your hex over to the last remaining one?
True, I do.
Excellent. Well done. Taz, you see them slaying these creatures in front of you left and right. What do you do?
Movement and icy cases, the usual.
All right, the usual. The 19 will hit. For 4 points of damage. Excellent. Melody, please make me a death saving throw.
I got healed again for.
You got healed. You're right. You're at 2 HP. Never mind. What do you do?
Melody is determined to maybe not have another nap.
Yeah.
Immediately. Debates equipping a shield and healing wording himself, but really wants to be a help. He wants to be a hero, so he is going to. That's an action. He's going to two-handed longsword the remaining axe beak.
All right, please roll to hit. The 20 will do it.
All right, and the damage was borked, so I will just d8 plus 3. Oh wait, it's d10.
Yep, you can go ahead and reroll that if you would like. 11 points of damage. Very strong. Your longsword slashes into the creature. It squawks. Ah! It's bloodied. It's on its last legs, but it is still alive. Wandel, you've been axed for a few points of damage. What will you do?
I'm not quite sure who hit me, but I will hit the remaining one.
Excellent.
And just try to stab it again. Still one-handed. And
That'll
this
do
hits.
it. I think you...
Of two
Oh,
damage.
well, maybe you won't kill it. Hold on. No! No,
Do
it's not
have damage
enough.
bonuses on this.
Excellent. So, it is Axe Beak's turn. It is the only one left. It is definitely bloodied. It is definitely very happy to be near the fire. And it is very happy to continue fighting. All right, Wandel, you were its target last turn. You're still its target this turn. It will not bite. It will slash with its beak. Oh, terribly, though. Not getting the job done. Belmont, what do you do?
No need to change it since it's working, so another with battle axe. I'm gonna use the Bardic Inspiration.
You're gonna use your inspiration. Perfect.
Yeah.
For 17, you hit. For 12, that'll get the job done. The creature dies to your axe. There is still a sleeping bird over here.
Yeah. Melody was gonna immediately charge over to that one and dispatch it if possible.
I don't know if Melody can do it by herself, but with a dwarf with a crazy axe and 2 casters and yourself, I think that it will ultimately just get killed. I don't think we need to.
Yeah, he'll walk up there. He just kind of looks to his others as they all gather around, and it's like that scene in what is it? The Office or Office Space?
Office Space. Yes, you Office Space the ever-living crap out of the final axe beak, and you all beat it to death. Very well done. Very well done.
Feels
I'm
good
gonna
to be
ask
a gangster.
Melody. I'm gonna ask Melody while we do it. Do you think they taste like chicken?
Only one way to find out.
I guess we need to start blocking.
All right, you want to skin these creatures and harvest some meat from them. So, who are you trained in? Like, I guess are you trained in survival? It's the only
Not at
skill
all.
in 5e. Okay.
Melody is.
Yeah.
Melody
I am
does have
too. Maybe I
survival.
could help.
Okay. So maybe
Belmont is happy to do the work, but he doesn't know how, so he needs
right.
some guidance here.
So why don't we have the proficient Melody make the roll, and we'll give you advantage for Belmont's assisting.
Wait.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I am touching you gently and saying some words you probably do not understand unless you speak Sylvan. But you...
He does.
Oh. What he said is basically may the whispers guide you. And what you hear are like these whispers on the edge of your hearing that try to tell you something how to skin this creature, apparently. And this is just a guidance spell for this.
Excellent.
Advantage and B4?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I do this. And oh,
All right.
sorry, I thought I was.
Was it on me or was it on
okay.
Melody? I thought it was on me. Sorry.
Oh well, you did the roll and you succeeded quite well. So why don't we keep it?
Yeah.
The 19 is 9 points over the DC of 10 to skin and clean these axe beaks. So you can take 9 pounds of rations from these 4 creatures.
Awesome.
1.5 rations.
Put them on the still very healthy mule that I'm sure nothing will happen to.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. All right. So you have encountered these axe beaks fairly early in your day's worth of travel. You still have quite a bit of day left. What is the plan? Going to continue on as you were?
You said 9 pounds.
9
correct?
pounds. Correct.
Okay, so that's
4.5 rations.
We want to deal with fractions of a ration.
I always
I mean,
track
we could
rations in
find another.
pounds. I don't know. I've long since stopped counting 1, 2, 3, 4 rations, and I just have rations times pounds. That's how I
Right.
track them. So I suppose it was you found 4.5 rations. Perhaps we
can
should make
find
you
another
round
hub
down. If
later.
we should make it just 4 rations. That would have been smarter in me.
We can find another bird. That's another hot ration.
Roll up another axe beak real quick. Let's get another ration, huh? Okay.
Can we take a short rest?
You may. Yeah. You guys all take 10 minutes to, after you skin the birds, to have a little drink of water, catch your breath, bind any wounds you may have. You're allowed to regain any class features or spells associated with a short rest. You may also spend up to 1/2 of your total pool of hit dice rounded up to regain any hit points lost.
It's still
nice.
at least
Recover.
1, right?
Yeah, you can't roll less than 1 hit point, so you'll
Okay.
take 1. Strong roll though, really
Well-
like it.
Yeah. I mean, there's some
Fantastic.
simplicity in the elegance of a 0.
All
That's
right.
will arcanely recover once more.
Yep.
Still not as bad as the hit die rolls we had in the Tower Ruin, where we had like 1, 1, 1, healing word 1, like 4 times in a row.
All right. After your short rest is ended, you continue on just going north through the Howling Fields?
Before we do that, I would probably go up to Tad and say, do not understand much of this, but you wizards sometimes use strange components. Do these have anything of value? And point to these axe beaks.
They're probably not worthless. But I don't know. I guess we can take one. I'll do some research in them in my lab at home. She pretends that she has a lab, even though she barely has a room.
You're just gonna take the whole carcass with you. Like, I'm sure I'll find some use for this.
Just the beak. Just the
Prop
beak
it up
because they
in
called
the
it the-
only room.
She only take a beak because she. I mean, they called after the beak, so there must be something to the beak.
All right. If you
Butchering this
want to
poor
take
animal.
the carcass with you, let me see if I have a weight on it. I don't. Let me look up the weight of an ostrich then. Ostrich weight.
That's fun.
140 to 320 pounds. That's a big. That's a big variance.
That's a big
right
bird.
there. Yeah.
Maybe stick with the beak.
Yeah.
Okay. Emus have a much smaller range, 79 to 88 pounds. So we'll call the carcass 80 pounds.
Not enough room for that on the mule without heavy encumbrance. My mule, at least.
Yeah,
She
same
would
here.
just
Mine is maxed out, pretty much.
just cut beak, if that's possible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
just the
can chop off the large beak. Most of its head is this like one big axe-like beak. It's a 2-pound beak when it's all said and done. But with the success of your butchery rolls previously, you can salvage one of these beaks, no problem.
Are you carrying that, or my mule?
Mule.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna salvage something as
2
well
pounds.
from one of them.
Okay.
I wanna salvage one of the hearts.
Okay. I think that is doable. You nailed your butchery roll previously in the course of stripping them of their meat. You can take one of their hearts. No problemo.
And Melody's trophy is just going to be a fistful of feathers.
There are many of them. They've been plucked and thrown everywhere.
Right.
These
Get
are
a
like the
fistful of
bravest
feathers.
mules. Like these bird with these axe beaks charged at them. Now there's one of these beaks on
They're
them.
either
and then
very brave-
hard.
They're either very brave or just really non-observant to their surroundings.
They probably have these blinders. I remember the time the creatures come, you just shut them. I guess like.
All right. So you've plucked these creatures and taken their heart and taken their beak, taken their feathers, taken their meat. You've rested on
Yeah.
their corpses. So time to continue north. Yes.
I believe so.
All right. You continue on. What is the mood like here after your morning rendezvous with these axe beaks in the plains? How's the traveling going?
Melody's just talking about their just recent experience, and he's really excited. He's like, "Did you see that? I just couldn't be stopped. I went down, but I got up, and I went down, and I got up, and they just couldn't stop me. They couldn't get me. And then I just cleaved right through it. It didn't die, but it helped. God, I love adventuring. This is so much fun. How are you guys?
I'm probably not in earshot. I'm at the front. Seems to speed up at the moment. Like, has to consciously try to slow down so the group isn't like way behind.
Your power
Still
walk.
is a bit confused with the area after this not great survival roll, but
You're finding your way though.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
seems
just politely-
undeterred.
That's just politely nodding along with the bard's babbling, but by now she has learned to not pay too much attention to it.
Belmont is listening to him
Yeah.
intensely, you know.
Belmont, you listen intensely to the bard's tale. Melody
You
is
with your
going.
axe.
Melody
Yeah,
is
you-
going
magic.
on, and Tads, you are paying probably the least amount of attention to the goings on of the party, and you are keeping a better eye out. About the time a noonday sun comes along, you spy a strange occurrence to the east of your travels. My brain just fell out. Wandel is leading the party ever northward, and as you are half listening to this dialogue going on next to you, you look to your east and you see an enormous fairy ring growing in the grasslands. It's probably, to your estimation, 60 to 80 feet in diameter. As these large toadstools of almost pure white grow out of the ground in this this ring. And the center of this large fairy ring appears hazy, almost like, you know how in the desert or like maybe a hot day on the street, you can see the like heat waves kind of coming up off the
Shimmering.
asphalt or the desert. That shimmering, shimmering, that's the word. This shimmering kind of gives off something like that in the middle of this large fairy ring as it catches your attention.
Tats turns to the side to your companions and says, "Guys, can you march a little later? Can you see this thing?"
Oh my gosh. He takes out a piece of paper and he starts like scribbling like
Not
notes
now!
furiously.
Oh, no more songs. We have to address this. This might be
No
spelled.
more songs.
You stop him and he's like gives you a glare and he's like, fine. And he folds up the piece of paper, puts it back.
As I'm probably hearing this faintly, maybe, like, but as I hear this, it's like almost a U-turn. Going forward, I hear this and just turn automatically to the side, towards the ring, and start to walk towards it. Not running. You can catch me, but I'm already going.
And Melody's right there with that line of thought. Like he's not gonna write if he's not gonna write about it right now. He's just gonna go check it out right now.
All right.
Tats
You.
runs away.
I'm sorry.
Tats
What was
runs
that?
80 feet. Tats runs 80 feet in the opposite direction.
All right. Tads runs away from the fairy ring, but we have Wandel and Melody making their way towards it. As you approach the fairy ring and you get closer to this kind of hazy shimmering going on, inside the shimmering of the ring, you get these glimpses of like large, like growing trees and bushes. You get glimpses of like animals like lounging, a big spring. It's hazy and kind of there one minute and not there the next, but as you approach it, you're seeing these in the shimmers, and you hear like the bird song kind of coming through this fairy ring out into the plains, and you hear this like gurgling of water splashing about across rocks, and you hear a like soft melodic like almost singing, but it's not wordy, it's not singing, almost like humming, if someone were to be humming along in this like fairy ring.
Being a bard, you know he's going to jump in on this music.
I'm not sure how close we get, but I will definitely not go inside the ring. I'll probably go very close towards it and stop there. You can see that he's trying to not go further forward, even though he wants to, or at least there's some pull towards.
You pull yourself up and stop some number of feet away from the fairy ring. You see and hear all these things as described. The mushrooms themselves grow up quite high. They're about knee height on a an adult person, and they are like pure white, no spots, no discolorations, just these big white mushrooms growing in a ring.
All right, Melody.
What's Belmont?
I'm sorry.
Let's try one. Is that
Where's
what you
Belmont?
said? Oh, where's Belmont?
What's
That's a good
Belmont?
question. Is Belmont?
We are
Did you
here.
follow, or
He's
did you run
at
back
the-
with Tads?
I didn't run away. I would get closer as well. I think Belmont would be quite interested in this as well.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah. I think Melody pauses only to listen to the song long enough to get an idea of it, and then he starts playing his pan flute along with it. And as long as he's satisfied with it's working well, he's just going to start walking on in while playing his pan flute.
Okay. You
Performance?
begin walking into the fairy ring. As you do so, You feel like almost like a magical pressure on you as you like cross through the ring of mushrooms. Your like whole vision becomes blurry and fading. And the three people are like watching from the outside see him disappear.
Perfect.
Melody is no longer visible on the world that you see. Melody, you find yourself in a beautiful forest glen. There is large trees, a babbling brook, a stream. You see animals of all kinds, big leopards, and there's spots lounging next to the stream, next to like rabbits eating away at carrots. You hear this like humming now much more clearly. The song of birds of various kinds flitter in and about, and you see like beavers and fish and otters and the like alligators playing around in the stream. And together. And the humming seems to be coming from somewhere deeper in. Before we get to you, what do the three on the outside of the fairy ring make of Melody's sudden disappearance?
Does it dissipate, or does he like step into it and immediately?
He like his like image shimmers a little bit, like the rest of the ring, and then he's no longer visible to you, like almost all at once after shimmering.
In that case, Tats would walk towards the mules and cast minor illusion into the area, even though she can't really see it. And in her nicest voice, well, the illusion would be auditory, and it would be her own voice with her nicest tone saying, "What the fuck? Can you come back?"
Her nicest tone saying, "What the fuck?"
Go ahead and give me an Arcana, and your spellcasting modifier is Intelligence. Give me an Arcana Intelligence check here as you try to project your magic through the fairy ring.
Wasn't it?
That was not it. You hear your magic voice ring out from what should be the middle of this fairy ring, but you get the distinct impression that wherever the melody is, your voice did not reach that place.
Well, Belmont will just try and follow without even really thinking about it. Like,
okay,
if he can, he will try and step into the fairy ring and maybe.
All right.
Wait! You this rope, she says as she pulls a rope out of her backpack and hands one end to it. We can maybe pull you out. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Something that they might be able to observe. I was playing the pan flute. Did that sound go away as soon as I disappeared?
It does, right? They catch sounds and clips and phrases, and like as much as there's like images that shift and shimmer through the like kind of haze around this ring, so too do the sounds.
Okay.
Perhaps it's possible they might pick up a beat here and there, but I've just rolled 2 natural ones in a row, so I think that it's likely to a non-trained musician sounds very little or very unrecognizable.
Sounds like a bird or something.
Yeah. So you attempt to tie a rope around Belmont before he steps in? Okay.
I'll let kind of help him do that, I guess, before I step in.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. You tie a rope and give some lead to Tads and let Belmont step through. Much the same way that Melody steps through Belmont, you feel this kind of like magical pressure almost around you, like you're stepping through like a barrier almost. And as you do so, the other two of you on the outside see that same shimmering effect kind of around him before he disappears. Let's see what happens to your rope, eh? Your rope is solid. It seems to also shimmer with him and disappear, but leading out from the ring of mushrooms is this like rope drawn taut as if still around something. Belmont, you appear in the same scene as described to Melody, this forest glen, peaceful with all these animals resting and playing about, a babbling brook rushing through, and you hear the play of a pan flute and this humming from somewhere deeper in.
I
Just a quick
immediately go to
question.
Melody. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just a quick question. Is there on this side, I mean, my character wouldn't see it, but these two would, an equivalent to the fairy ring that would point back?
Do
Basically?
they
Or
see a
is it-
fairy ring inside the fairy ring?
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to repeat your question. Is that what you're asking?
Something like that. Like, this fairy ring for us seems to be obviously a portal to somewhere, or that's the impression we get. Is there something, doesn't need to be a fairy ring, but another ring, a portal, or something like that on their side that would point back?
Melody and Belmont do not see something of that nature. No.
Yeah, Melody would not have even checked for that.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
just
Yeah,
like,
But
well,
"Oh,
just-
even if you
he
did and you
bypassed
looked
it."
around, it would not be so obvious as to be found. No.
What I would do is, I seem almost like an invisible force pulling me forward and pulling my heels in. So I'm not stepping in just yet. But there's fear on my face, and I have loudly, I'm not quite calling out, but confident, loudly speaking, in Sylvan this time. Is someone here? Anyone? Does anyone hear me?
You speak out in your Sylvan tongue from the other side of the portal, but you do not hear a response.
Okay.
If this takes more than 10 minutes and 6 seconds, then Tats will ritual cast detect magic.
Okay.
But
You
see
begin
what happens in a
your
sec.
your ritual casting.
I'm probably taking the rope as long as you do that.
Okay.
So it's not just lying
You hand
there.
the lead over to not Melody. I'm sorry, Wandel, and you begin your ritual casting of detect magic. While these 10 minutes are going, Melody and Belmont, you're in this forest glen, this beautiful, pristine place. What do you do?
Melody, from the moment he stepped in playing his pan flute, has just kind of he's providing more music to the humming melody, and then he'll just kind of like trail off a little bit so he can like check and listen where it is, and then he's going to keep heading the direction of the humming, trying to see whatever thing is creating this beautiful music.
You begin making your way deeper into the glen, following this babbling brook. The trees kind of begin rising more steadily, and as you follow this brook, becomes more of a forest proper itself. The high overhead. Although it would seem that the canopy of leaves would make things darker, it doesn't actually seem to cause a darkening of the light around you. There's just this constant, like brightness to the area, even underneath all the trees here. You see small animals, resting, playing, eating the nuts and berries that are on these trees that seem to grow both like large acorns and nuts, but also fruits and sweet berries at the same time in a very maybe even distracting or strange way. The sound carries you ever forward, although it does, after some amount of time of traveling with it, you don't seem to be getting any closer to it. Belmont, are you following Melody here through the babbling brook?
I think, like, when Belmont gets there, he immediately tries to find Melody. See, like, if he sees him, and then he's just gonna follow and keep calling out to him and say, like, are you okay? Like, what happened?
Yeah, he'll like bob his head in an acknowledgement, but he's not going to stop his song, and he's not going to stop walking unless he realizes or gets the notion that this humming melody is like of this place and not from a specific source.
So how far are we moving? Like, how long is the rope?
That's a good
I'm
question.
stuck
How
with?
long is the rope? 50 feet, I assume? Yeah, 50 feet. I got the thumbs up. So you probably are stepping in as Melody's walking away, and you like follow some distance, where eventually, Wandel, you will see the rope begin like coming, like going into the fairy ring at a slow, probably walking pace. And after some time, you're getting to the edge of the rope. What do you do as the end of the rope is coming towards your fingers?
pointing towards Tat and say, "We don't have any time left. We need to go or we need to leave. Go in or leave. But we should
try
not
holding on
abandon
to it.
them."
Can you tell it? Can you tell him to come back?
I try to pull, but I have 11 strength. That's probably not better than Balance strength, but I'll try.
It's better than
to
average,
pull
though,
harder.
right?
All right, yeah. Belmond,
I mean, I'm
as
proficient
you
in
are
athletics.
walking forward, you feel a tugging at the rope tied around your waist. What do you do when you feel this?
First, I'm gonna say to Melody, like, I think the others want us to come back. But clearly you're not ready, and I gotta look at you playing the flute.
Yeah, he just kind of like nods to acknowledge that he heard you, and then he just kind of like turns around, looks, and he's just like shrugs his shoulders and just keeps playing,
say-
turns back around, and keeps walking.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, let me get them here, and I pull up the rope, quite insistently, trying to pull whoever's holding it into the ring as well.
All right, not Melody. Wandel, you're pulling the rope, tugging on it, and then it gets pulled back at you. Do you follow the rope in, or has this become a tug of war over the rope?
I'm like, this is not working. Like, do we go in? To Tats.
You don't even know whether it's them tugging it. It could be a creature eating them. Just let go. We have to
Yeah.
wait out. Let's wait out here and see whether they come back.
If you
There's
thought
no.
that, why did you tie the rope around him in the first place? You know, we have
You
to
want-
trust the rope, otherwise this is pointless.
If you want to, you can go in. I will stay here.
I'll try to pull him back.
All right, I want opposed athletic checks, please. Strength athletics between Belmond and Wandel here. Ooh, pretty good. Oh no! Wandel, you are unable to hold onto this rope. He jerks it out of your hands, and a little bit of rug
Where
burn.
does the
Maybe.
advantage come from, by the way? Just
It should have been normal roll, so it should be 8.
Oh, it's a normal roll.
Yeah.
My brain. Okay, yeah. No, actually,
It's a green number. You have to listen.
Belmont, you find yourself being jerked off of your feet, and are being dragged back by the rope around your waist. After a few minutes of pulling, you find yourself getting dragged into like this big tree that's growing near the river. You see part of your rope like receding into the bark of this tree as it pulls towards you.
Did
and-
Belmont make any noise? Like,
Yeah, I would
he's probably
try
wearing a
not
lot
to
of
rope.
gear, getting dragged and stuff. If he-
I assume that you might be able to hear it, although Melody seemed like they were pretty distracted during all of this.
I'm just trying to determine if Melody sees that there's a tree.
There are
that
many
is-
trees.
that there's a tree and Belmont is getting like pulled into it. If
I
he
don't know.
doesn't, that's perfectly fine.
I don't know. You tell me. It seemed to me like Melody was pretty distracted with what they were doing and turned and kind of
Yeah,
walked
probably.
away. But if
Probably.
okay,
Unless it was just if something like stood out above the volume of the music or something, he might have glanced, but probably not.
okay. That's your call then. Excellent. Belmont, I heard you say you might want to cut the rope.
Yeah, if I get like too far away from Melody, then I would try and cut it.
Okay, yeah, as you are getting dragged back, you can cut the rope. Wandel, I don't believe, is strong enough to jerk you back all in one clean motion of 50 feet.
No.
And so...
I mean, with my gear, I weight like 300
There's no
pounds.
way.
you're jerked off your feet, you're getting dragged towards this tree, and you take out a knife or your battle axe and cut the rope. Wandel, suddenly the rope like goes real slack, and you come like falling back away from the fungus on your back, and as you pull this rope, you see like it cut and shredded in one place near the end.
Does it kind of determine whether that's a blade or if something bit that off from my end? I mean, I know what happened, but
Yeah, I don't know. How good are you at identifying what has destroyed a rope? Right? Do you have some kind of training or proficiency or knowledge that would help you identify this rope?
no, the
cut?
kills would be survivor, but that would probably not extend to that. It was just an unproficient check for whatever.
Okay. I think that this is probably an intelligence-based thing, right? See, knowing the difference between what destroys rope fibers. So why don't we have an unproficient intelligence check? We'll see if you can identify this.
11.
No, you're uncertain as to what may have caused this rope to snap. It's the way it did.
They're gone, Tat.
They're gone.
I hold the rope out, like the slack rope now. What
Tets
now?
walks to you. Grabs your chin with a hand, and says, "Listen, bunch of options of what happened in there. One option is something ate them, and the creature comes for us. Second option is they're in there, they're possessed. Now you gave them a clear signal. Oh, didn't listen to it. Okay, here's what we do. We have to hide those mules. We have to set up something. Like, I don't know, we have to set up a giant fire or a grease spell. I don't know, something. When they come, we have to make sure that it's them. And if we're not 100% certain, we have to use the moment of surprise because you've seen them. One of them might be loudmouth and you might be falling to his face every 5 seconds, but the other one, he's a fierce warrior. We have to take him seriously, okay?
I'm just raising my hand and point to the beak on the mule. I don't know who has it if you have it off it. It's on the mule, I think. So
Yeah, it's on a meal.
if more creatures like that come and the other two are not back, we are dead. We do not have time.
You want to leave them here?
No, we need those two back. If they're gone and we travel anywhere, we are dead. We have to get them back.
She stands there in silence, considering. He says, "Oh, yeah, but, I mean, if it's a creature and it jumps us, what are we gonna do?"
Then we also die, but I'd rather take the risk than die here for certain.
I know. I don't really trust it, she says, and she casts grease in the area with the
When in
very
grease fire.
circle.
You attempt to grease the circle. Are you trying to cast your grease into the like other realm where Melody went?
It depends on like what the that's not necessarily her intention. She tries to just depending on what the diameter is of the circle.
It's
just wants to cover it all.
I,
So that
I
the
had
people-
it and I lost it. I think it's about 80 feet in diameter. It's a big
Oh,
circle.
that's too much. Then rather than mostly the place where Melody walked in, like half. There would be half in the circle itself, and then half outside where Tets could still see Mel. And then we'll walk to the mules, and she will cover behind it like a Navy SEAL, waiting for whatever comes out.
All right, you cast grease. Go ahead and give me an Arcana intelligence check as you try to pass your magic through this this portal, if you will. No, your grease spell lands and it covers some of these mushrooms and it lands on the outside and it seems to land inside the mushrooms as well. The like shimmering still grants you images and flickers and sounds from somewhere else, but you can see also like underneath the shimmering, the like landing of your grease as you cower behind your mule. All right. I think that we might take a break right here. We're almost at 2.5 hours in, and it seems we may have come to a bit of a impasse with our 4 players. So let's take a break here, grab some water, grab a bathroom if we need it, and we'll come back on the other side and see what the plan is next.
I need to let a couple of dogs out. So
Yeah,
it
perfect
might be
timing
10
then.
minutes instead of
Yeah,
5, so-
we'll 5 or 10 minutes, whatever we need, and we'll
Okay.
come back. All right, we will see you all in a few.
All right.
Okay.
And welcome back to Land Beyond the Mist session. I don't know what it is, 14, 15, something like that. We have 2 party members who have gone through a magic fairy ring into some other place entirely, and a mishap with the rope has caused some, I don't know, untold fear perhaps with the people on the outside. So we'll come back with Wandel and Taz. You are trying to decide whether or not to go into this fairy ring. What do you do?
As I said, if they're not coming back, we're going to die here.
Not necessarily. I trust my ability to survive.
Well,
Do you want to get?
take a look.
Do you want to get eaten by that thing as well, or like, what's your plan?
I don't think there was. I do not think that getting eaten is quite what happens in a fairy ring, though other things might not be more pleasant either. I'm just taking my spear that I'd probably dropped. My javelins are probably also somewhere out there after hopefully not falling on the pointy end. And I'm saying, I'm not sure if you're going to follow me, but I will go.
Right. You go in there, and if it's safe.
I'll
You-
try if I can go back.
Think it's not possible? Well,
We'll see.
best of luck to you, not quite wizardly person. And she taps you on the shoulder. Moving towards the thing. Actually, unconsciously taking a step back.
Picking up, and as you just take the step back, it's almost like I'm like stumbling forward and catch my step and like going pretty fast into the fairy ring.
All right. And so, Wandel, you two make your way into the fairy ring, feeling the pressure as you go through this barrier, and eventually winding up in the glen near the babbling brook with the animals and the trees, as we described. So, Tads, you are staying outside of this ring for now. What do you do during this day as you wait for the party to either come back or find their way through this ring? What is your plan as you stand on the outside of this ring?
Well, first you will look at the ring from all kinds of angles with detect magic, seeing like what kind of tools that comes from, where they're out
Yes.
different signatures and.
It is definitely a magic ring. You get the ping of detect magic from the ring itself. I think that you... Let me look up this school, actually, so I don't give you any wrong information. Not that most people care, but it is what it is. You get a ping of conjuration magic. It's quite bright. This entire like 80-foot circle like just is glowing brightly with this magic. It's just like almost the same way you see that haziness with your normal sight. You see like that amplified to a greater degree. This like bright magic seeping out of the circle, and it all is conjuration. The entirety of the magic you get from it.
Intriguing. She will look at her spellbook, seeing whether there's anything conjury that she knows herself. She tries to recall information about conjuration. Is to find a place to bind the mules to, because actually she will lead one of the mules towards the fairy ring and like push it in backwards, but see whether she can like lead it out again. See whether it gets like swallowed up or.
Yeah, if you hold on to the brittle of the creature, it will like push its way through, and then you can pull it back out without too much of an issue. The mule is concerned by this, but it will be, it's trained well enough. You can pull it in and out.
Well, that's actually bad news, because that proves to her that Wendell could, if he wanted to, come back. It means that he's probably dead on the other side. She decides to give them.
Like, how long
One
was
more-
this? Like, 30 seconds?
I mean, like to cast to ritual cast detect magic. That already takes like 11 minutes, right? So
I'm not sure
Then
how
what's
we
like-
did that. Like, if that's what's going on while I was on the rope, or if that was only after. I'm not quite certain.
well, I assumed you would just not come back. Okay, cool. If you come back while I'm ritual casting, then
I didn't have a
makes sense.
chance to do anything yet on the other side, so. To
well,
be
I guess
decided.
that's her plan. That's what she would do if she had a lot of
It
time.
happens.
She would set
It happens.
the plan.
No, nobody comes back. No, nothing changes. You're just here with this fairy circle for some amount of time.
Okay, then she will try to find 2 spots for the mules, so that say if creatures approach from the west, then they will eat 1 mule. If they come from the east, they will the other mule. And like Tats tries to hide in the middle of it.
I like it.
yourself into
The sacrificial mule strategy of survival.
It has worked in the past for her, so she'll go back to that.
Very good.
then she just-
You find some rocks or some trees to tie up these mules, and you hunker down, waiting for something to happen. Hours pass. The sun moves across the sky. It's heading towards evening. Do you plan to stay all day? How long do you stay here?
You will stay till I think till dusk, and then at that point, actually, yeah, I guess she will stay through the night and see. And if
Okay.
then there's nothing there, then she will make her way home on her own, leaving the mules behind.
Okay. And so you do. You set up and you wait. So the 3 of you inside this fairy ring. Wendell, you come into, you pop in, you see all of these creatures playing, the sound happening. Belmond is nearby, having like cut the rope off. You see where you've dragged him into dragged him across the ground some amount, and Melody seems to be in the process of wandering off, following this babbling brook through some trees. What do you all do?
Where's Melody?
Oh, it's
A
just
brown
there, behind us. Behind us, over there. What
Can I
happened
see
on
him?
the other side? It feels like someone giant pulled me towards the whatever that
Yes,
tree
I
is.
tried to pull you because you wouldn't come back. What happened?
Oh, well, nothing so far. We've been just looking around. It's only been like 2 minutes or so. So,
So can I see Melody from the point I'm standing?
Yeah, you
Or
can
is-
still see Melody, although they seem to be distractedly playing their pan flute and walking slowly along this like brook deeper into the forest ahead of you.
So do I think I still have time before they disappear out of sight, or
Sure, yeah.
does it seem? So what I'm doing is I will first cast guidance on myself, and how this works is that I hear whispers trying to tell me stuff, and I'm not quite sure if I can always hear them correctly. As I do so, I will first call out in Sylvan. Is anyone here? Show yourself. And Melody will probably hear it, but mostly directed to everyone around that may hear. I get any?
You call out from where you are, and you don't so much get a response back in Sylvan or anything, but the music, the humming that Melody was trying to play along with grows stronger. And it breaks out into song briefly, with old Sylvan tongue. It is ancient and almost archaic. It would be like listening to Old English in the Sylvan language, but you can make out this brief snippet of song about like regrowth and it's about like taking something that is old and decayed or rotten and making something new and fresh and regrowing out of it. And you get a few stanzas of the song before it returns to a low hum with no words.
But this was apparently as a reaction to my
It happened soon after you shouted out, yeah.
Okay. If I look around, is there any, like, I'm standing probably just in the glade with no obvious thing I came out of or anything? This was.
Correct.
Is
So
the
what-
rope
I-
partially sticking through a tree?
Not anymore. It got cut and pulled through. So
Oh,
there's,
right.
there's no longer any rope. Well, I guess there's some rope
So
tied
what-
around Belmond, but that's all.
I'm more relaxed now,
belt.
but I still have some fear in my face. But what I tried to do, because I said to Tat that I would do it, I tried to listen to the whisper, so like this feeling with nature that I have as a druid that doesn't really call himself a druid, but
Uh-huh.
I go around and try to find if there's some. I go around to trees and to glade and maybe to an animal or two and try to listen to the whispers and try to find if there's anything that pulls me out or anything that's not from this place that may indicate a portal going back.
You begin looking and trying to find a portal going back. You listen to the whispers and they gather your feet around. You talk to the animals. Excuse me, dying a little bit over here. You talk to the animals, you talk to the trees, but in this glen here, you are unable to find said portal back. It seems that no matter where the whispers take your feet, there's nothing pulling you to a new place.
Yeah. Then to Belmont, so should we wait here or we should probably not
should
leave
go-
Melody alone?
Yeah, we should follow Melody before we get lost. Don't want him to, well, whatever happens here. I think we should be there as well.
All right.
I'll probably stay a bit behind Belmont now and still try to feel along the path if there's anything that might lead back or somewhere else that's not on this in this place while we follow Melody.
All right.
Yeah, I think as we are walking, I'm gonna ask Wendell, what was that language you were talking? Never heard of it.
Right.
Sorry,
don't know if it has
I
a
was
name.
asking you what was that language you were
I
talking.
understood you. I'm sorry. I don't know if it has a name. I just heard it in my sleep. And it's a language that is connected to this place, but...
Nope.
Oh!
We lost
Oh, no.
somebody.
Well, he was talking about something about being on standby while we were in here or something during our break.
Yeah. I just don't know if he dropped
If that was willing
or if that was
yeah.
like an internet thing.
He had lags on camera, so I suppose it's bad connection.
Could be. Let's see. Helps
I
if
think
I
he's still in roll 20. So.
All right, we'll see if we can get him back. You guys can continue for the moment while I figure this out.
Okay. Yeah, Melody was just kind of following the spring wherever it goes, trusting that he can just always follow it back. He doesn't know a whole lot about the Fae and the weird things that the Fae realm might do. So maybe he'll get lost. Who knows? He's not concerned. And he's going to keep following the stream, pausing his pan flute playing on occasion. He heard the voice calling from above, talking about regrowth, taking something rotten and rejuvenating it. And after some time, he'll probably just kind of take a break from wandering, and he'll just dip a hand down to taste of the spring water.
You dip
Or
your
this-
hand down. It is clean and fresh and bright. It's one of the best tasting waters I think you can remember. It is like as clean and clear as possible, but still gives that like there must be some kind of mineral or something in it, but it doesn't give the water a metallic taste or a bad taste. It's almost like sweet and perfect.
Vitamin water. Awesome.
Delicious vitamin water. Yes. Yes.
And after taking a sip, he will just continue wandering, check real quick, look back behind him. Does he see anyone of the group at this point?
Yeah, I
Might be
think
too
that
far.
they're wandering behind you. Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so checking and satisfied that they're following, he'll resume his meandering trek and looking out for any new or any further exciting things. This is all we're going to make an excellent tale, an excellent song.
Mm-hmm.
And he will begin a song. I just wrote a little bit here. His song will
Oh.
continue, but he just kind of goes... Sweet fairy spring, see the critters play, hear the waters flow. Don't worry about a thing within the sweet fairy spring. And he will continue singing along as he goes.
Excellent. Eventually, the three of you take some immeasurable amount of time. It doesn't seem that like day passes. You don't see a sun underneath the trees as you go into this forest. It's just constantly bright for some period of time. It's hard to tell how long you walk and make your way through this. But eventually, you find yourselves approaching a like a bigger clearing in the forest than you even saw at the glen before. It all is around a like big rock structure that looks like a cave going deeper inside the ground. From this cave, you see tendrils of like rot and decay and charred ground. Black twisted stumps of shrubs and trees are like found growing through here. The forest that has been so bright and cheery and excellent has this like almost looks like a wound here at the center of it. The bird's song and the critters and things that have been so playful and sitting beside you most of your journey seem to dip away, and you see what appears to be a large almost elf, but they're just something about them seems extra. Their features more defined. Their bright blue skin worked with like almost tattooed runes across their body as they hum and sing silently, not silently, but quietly to themselves. It seems like reverberate through this like forest you've been walking through. They have their back to you and are dressed in just like this plain brown like robe, and as they move about they sing and care for and seem to be trying to at the best of your abilities to tell care for this like wounded area in the forest.
Nelly will continue approaching. He'll probably stop his spoken song and go back to trying to accompany this humming with his pan flute. And he'll just keep walking right on up until a respectable distance and wait to see if they like react to his presence.
All right. You walk up a respectable distance. Eventually, you are indeed spotted and noticed. And this ancient elf turns to look in your direction. You don't really seem to feel like he looks directly at you. But this elf looks in the direction of you and your companions and speaks in a slow, melodic voice. And like kind of almost half, it seems like he's like half singing the entire time, and speaks out to you in a like, welcome, visitors. This has been long since I've seen fresh faces around these parts. And then just kind of goes about what he was doing.
Yeah, Melody will stop his song and then respond. It is a most beautiful growth that you have for yourself here. And I see you're toiling away at making it once again perfect.
It was once much, much shabbier. Looks around. This is, we do our best, or at least I do these days. We used to do our best.
Our journey thus far has been rather harrowing, and I must express gratitude that your sanctuary has given us a much needed respite.
Ah, well, I'm glad. Rest all you
Is
can.
there... Yeah, undoubtedly. Is there anything we can do to help? I fear this... Your magics may be far, far beyond our capabilities. But I would like to help if possible.
He nods. He looks at you probably for the first time, kind of appraisingly. Kind of scratches at his chin a little bit and goes, well, you're right, my magics far surpass yours in some areas, but I can do no harm to things. I cannot do violence or bring about the end of anything, and I can only do my best to heal the wounds here in this land. He points into the cave and he says, if you wish to help me, perhaps you could do violence in my stead. He kind of sighs and smiles sadly, and looks to the three of you and says, we came to this land long ago. When it fell, it was in need of healing. We've done our best. My sister and I cared for this area. We have healed it as best we can, tried to create as much of our home as we could as well. But the sickness in this land was too much. It is too painful. It has taken her, my sister, corrupted her, changed her. She's something else now. At night, she will come and undo what I've done, as is the cycle. I can contain the spread of her corruption here for now, but it is all I can do. If you wish to help me, perhaps what you could do is, well, end the pain that my sister causes.
I am deeply sorry. It is a most tragic thing to befall a family.
It is. It is indeed.
So it is your sister. Sorry, go ahead.
Just an out of character question. Is this all in Sylvan, or is this in Common, or?
He responds in the same language that Melody speaks to him in.
Which would have been Sylvan at the
Yes.
time.
Then if you were speaking Sylvan, then he responds in Sylvan. You'll find that his Sylvan is older than yours. It's like listening to somebody who speaks Old English or something. It's maybe words that are hard to translate, but you get the vast majority of it.
Melody will regard his dwarven companion, kind of question where the other one is, and he'll ask in Sylvan, were we to speak the common tongue so that all parties here could understand, would you be capable?
Of course, yes.
Then just get him to switch to common.
Which he does fluently. Again, it's old. He has an old way of speaking, but it is intelligible.
Your sister, one could assume, is of similar magical inclination.
Not anymore.
Well, in terms of power
Oh, yes.
and
Perhaps even stronger than me. I have been fighting a losing battle here in the valley for some time.
sizing us three up here, be honest, do you think we have a chance?
Oh, he scratches at his face again, furrows his brows. I don't know, actually. As I said, I am incapable of inflicting harm. I do not know the capabilities that you have. You seem to bear weapons. I would not be able to tell you your own strengths.
We are not. We are mighty, but we're not powerful. It is my fear that if we were to, perhaps we're not able to assist you with your sister yet. Perhaps as we return, I'm not sure. And he'll turn to his party to discuss with them. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, look at him.
Before we discuss things, I would ask, now in common probably, there was a fairy ring that led us here. Why does this exist? And is it the only way here? And is there a way back?
He nods his head. He says, "Oh, yes. The fairy ring is here to contain the spread of my sister's power. She is not to be allowed out into the wider world. It would harm it as well. I could not contain it should it spread beyond my reach. That ring that you saw would have been the extent of my power. It extends across the ring and no further. Is there a way out? Well, yes, I suppose. I do not have the power to cross it myself, but my sister would."
So she is the only one who knows how to do it, or the only one that can do it?
She would be the one that could send you from here to there, yes.
Does she need to be alive for this?
Likely.
If we are
Likely.
to confront her.
Although death in this world is a little different than normal, but alive is usually better. Usually.
Perhaps a combat would defeat the corruption without rendering her lifeless.
Quite possible.
We must take some time to think, and I would love to assist you on this. We must rest and regain our strength if we were to do so, though.
Please, rest as long as you can. Beware the night, though. And he goes back to doing his little singing. Yep.
Before you go, the time outside this place and the time here, if we rest here, how long? Is it a day here, a day back?
Well,
or...
I know very little of the way time moves outside of here.
I nod. Thank you for your time. And I turn back and say, I got the distinct impression that if we do not leave quickly, then we may find ourselves without a wizard and without a mule on the other side. So we may not have much time.
It also seems that the only way back home is through her, and he points to the cave. Do you want to try to tackle that in our current state?
No, not before we rest. But even then, if we take 2 or 3 days, I do not know how much we may... There may be years that pass in the other world, or just a second.
I believe that there's not much we can do about that where we are, other than rest and try to help this man's poor sister.
Well, but we need to rest beforehand, right?
Absolutely.
Are you guys
I
wounded?
ate all over. I am in agonizing pain. It was just the allure of the song that kept me going until now.
Well, maybe he can, since he can do no harm, maybe he can help you in healing you, and we could go
It
go
is-
into the cave right away.
I suppose that is worth a shot.
I am tired out. I need to rest before I will attempt anything like this.
Right. I think Melody will approach the elf or fae again and say, we are seemingly willing, since our way back is through, and he'll point at the cave once again,
Indeed.
and at least discussing with your sister. The faster it is done, the better, though in our current state, we would have to rest for some time. Is there, with your nurturing ways, the chance that we can expedite this?
He thinks, looks at your wounds, and he goes, I cannot recover your magics or your abilities much faster, but I could do a little something about this. Here, let me see. And he walks out of the kind of circle of the valley here, and he goes towards the water, kind of picks some up in his hands, speaks a little bit to it in Sylvan, and then just kind of spritzes it at you like that, like hitting you with droplets of water. And as he does so, he can turn to each of you and refresh your bodies. You can return to full HP from his magic spritzing. He says,
Oh,
beyond this,
that's amazing.
I can do little more than offer you to drink of the waters and rest. I will say once again, though, rest as long as you need, but beware the night. It gets different around here.
Is there a place where we could be safe during the night?
Or a good place for us to set up our own shelter.
He shrugs. He says, I know little of it. I think that anywhere here would be about as safe as anywhere else.
I say we stay kind of close. Give it some distance, because you said his sister undoes what he works on. I'm not sure if that extends to the whole grove or this whole space. But we should travel back a bit and then set up a camp. And
All right.
resting to get our spell slots back is our only chance.
You begin resting. Time seems hardly measurable here. It just goes and goes and goes. You rest. You try to get your spell slots back. It's a long and peaceful trip. The man sings and rends his magic. Black trees begin to sprout little leaves and blooms and blossoms. He sometimes sings, sometimes hums, sometimes wields his magic, sometimes just takes out a hoe and goes to work like a gardener. Eventually, you begin to feel your magics returning. About the time that your long rest happens, and we will give you a long rest per the player's handbook. You have sat in this magical grove. You regain all of your hit dice in your pool. You regain all of your HP, all of your spells, all of your class features. You are fresh. As you feel this returning strength get to you, the light in here, the sun doesn't set. There's no sun. The light turns colder, grayer. The air becomes, instead of this warm, nice, welcoming feel to it, becomes cold, chilling down your bones. You feel like little frost bits forming at the corners of your mouth. And as you return to the kind of wound, you see this man begin to change in front of your eyes. His hair grows out long. His blue skin turns pale white. His features shift that from his like male form during the day into this cold and wintry form. He shifts, and it looks as if he turns into a similar looking fae in terms of features, but one of a female persuasion. His skin turns into this cold silvery light, and the like soft humming becomes a cackling that bounces, jattering and hanging across the trees and the land. She sweeps open her hands, and you see this like black magic coming out of this wounded cave, stripping away the leaves and the rocks and the flowers that he has bloomed. What do you all do?
The magic force comes from the cave to this individual.
It's almost like she opens up her hands, yes, and this blight or like rot like erupts from the cave, seeping into the area around her. You see it withering away the work that was done beforehand.
He was talking about his. He was talking about his sister being the problem, but that she was corrupted, and he kept pointing towards the cave when he mentioned us causing harm to fix this. It's possible he thinks that the sister comes out of the cave and undoes what he did, but it might be possible that we need to go to the cave and stop the source of this.
And we should do so while he is there and not she. Because I do not think if she can do the same thing to you that he did to you, but in inverse, then we will not be there for long.
And she would like us, or likely stop us from approaching the cave. So
yes,
perhaps we retreat further and wait until day to come back.
You begin retreating through this dark and cold forest. You hear the cackling of this creature behind you. Magic rips through the forest. You see streaks of dark black energy rotting away the trees, climbing through the forest around you. As you do so, let's see, what animals are there around you closest? Ooh, you see big, large bears, grizzled and black-maned, and as you are retreating through the forest, they step up. What was once docile and peaceful is now enraged and angered. They step in front of the three of you and unleash their grisly roar. And they look to be ready to fight you. Let's roll into some initiative here with some bears. Yes.
He's got to get his song going.
He's got to get the song going. That is importante. There are two of these creatures.
Wow.
Melody is quite slow, but the Wandel and Belmont initiative is quite good. The bears will have initiative 0. Whoa, not that. 15 for the two large grizzly bears in front of you. They unleash their roar at you, and you see like this twisting magic like across their bodies. What do you do as they roar at you, Wandel?
Was this correct? This initiative by Belmont?
You're 21, he's
me?
21, you'll both go.
Okay. If he has more dex than me, then he goes first.
His dex is 14. What's your dex?
I have 0 dex bonus.
All right, we'll let
and if
Belmont
the
go
bonus
first
from
then.
the alert
That's
feed.
fine. Belmont, you go first. What do you do?
I mean, these things are clearly crazed, and there's no way of me running away from them because I'm at 12. So, I get up my battle axe, and I'll start with casting a hex and trying to take a swing at one of them.
All right, you cast your hex.
Tried and true.
Yeah, and you rush up to swing at them. They don't save versus the hex, right?
Yeah, no saves.
No save. All right, you cast your hex on the closest one and go take a swing.
Yeah.
The 16 will hit as you like slice into it with your battle axe. Go ahead and roll me some damage. All right, you deal 9 points of damage. Your necrotic energies lash out into the bear, wounding it deeper than it was before. It unleashes another cry of anger in your face. Now we'll go to Wandel. You see Belmont charge in with his axe to swing at one. What do you do?
Without telling you what I will do, Belmont, because that would not be appropriate, what save was the one that the bear has disadvantage on?
Yeah, strength.
Strength saving throw is what he's
This is
choosing.
sadly not useful for me. I will...
Checks, not saves. Only checks.
Oh, checks.
Say?
Ability checks.
Oh,
That's
okay,
right.
then this doesn't matter. I will... There's only 2 bears. I should be able to cast Fairy Fire in a way that I do not hit Belmont as well.
Sure, absolutely. They're also much bigger
so-
than your dwarf friend.
Yeah, so I will cast Fairy Fire. If I can.
They make a dex save
not-
for that, correct?
Yeah, DC 11. Dex save.
Excellent. The first one will fail. The second will fail as well.
Okay, then there's not much I can do. I will stay back and
All
be
right.
ready to heal.
You cast your
necessary.
fairy fire, illuminating these 2 large bears in like shades of purple and yellow and gold, illuminating this otherwise now dark gray and cold forest. The first bear we'll deal with is right in front of Belmont, and it will attack you. It makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its claws. Oh my god, these things are scarier than I thought. This thing, the first with its claws, will attack you with a 10. That's not going to get it done. And then it
7.
follows up with a bite for a 26. I believe you are not going to be able to block that one.
Yeah, no way.
All right, the bear chomps down on your dwarfy body, biting in for 8 points of piercing damage. The second bear is going to choose between the other 2 of you. Will it go after Melody or will it go after Wandel? It will go after Wandel. Wandel, it races up to you in its rage, it lifts up its mighty claws, and attacks with a 23.
That hits.
All right, it will do to you 13 points
I'm
of
down.
slashing damage.
my God. Gosh.
1 off dying.
Ooh, all right, but you are not dead. This is good. Excellent. That brings us to the
think so.
Melody. What do you do?
Melody is going to
And
sing
the
and,
Fairy
dance
Fire
his heart out.
vanishes.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
The fairy fire does
goes away, too.
dissipate. Yep.
He's gonna sing and dance his heart out as he takes an action to equip his shield. And he starts like curling it and getting his muscles bulging and trying to make himself look more intimidating to these incredibly scary bears. And he's going to cast Healing Word at the druid friend that helped him up so many times last combat.
All right. You cast your healing word.
1d4 plus 4. 6 HP.
Very nice. Wandel, your eyes snap back as the healing words of the bard soothe you and bring you back to life. Or back to consciousness, at least. Excellent. Well done, sir. That brings us back around to Belmond. Belmond, I think that I made a mistake in not calling for a concentration save on Hex. So before you take your turn, can I get a Constitution saving throw of DC 10?
Yeah, I rolled it. Rolled an 8.
Oh, you look at that. You're already on top of it, not even needing to be prompted. Okay, unfortunately, though, your concentration slips on the Hex, and it is lost.
Well, I don't think there's nothing to it. I'll need to try and take at least one of them out. So,
All right.
two-handed battle axe.
All right.
Bam.
You swing and hit for 8 points of damage, bloodying the creature. It is in pain and it roars in like even more rage now that it is hurting. Excellent. Anything else?
Nope.
No. All right. That brings us to Wandel. You have snapped back to consciousness. The bear stands over your prone body. What do you do?
I definitely stand up, first of all, and then... Well, not much to be done, I think.
Except kill it, you could do that.
Yeah, but it wasn't hit yet, so and it probably has like 40 HP or something like that. So
Well, you said one was bloody.
yes,
Might
but
be a
not
chance.
the one that's in front of me. Am I in melee range for the other one, or are we?
You could like you're not probably in melee range, right? Because you said you moved back away from the
Yeah.
bears at first, so you're probably not next to the one that Belmond is fighting, but you could shoot it at range very easily.
Yes, but not while I'm engaged. I will just stab it. I cannot wait it out
Okay.
in this case.
Is there a disadvantage if you're engaged or something?
Yes, if I'm in melee.
It is
Okay.
yeah, it is disadvantage for a ranged spell attack at a creature in melee with you.
But a different creature.
At a
while
different
another one's
creature,
in
it
melee.
usually is fine.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. If that was the case, I'm not sure. If that was the case, I would just cast at it, but...
Okay.
That's-
Feel free to cast at it.
Oh, okay.
The 9 also misses. You throw your flame at the other bear and are unable to strike it. All right, it is bear's turn. The bears will raise their attacks, their claws up. They will attack first Belmond with their claws for a 13. Not enough. They will then bite at Belmond with an 18.
Yep, that will hit me.
That'll do it. All right, not claw damage. We need bite damage. They bite you for an additional 8 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, Belmond falls. The second bear sees Wendell pop back up in front of it and will attack with a 25 with its claws for 13 points of damage.
Now I'm dead.
Are you dead outright?
I'm dead, yes.
Oh no!
I have 6 HP.
Oh no!
I'm one of max HP.
You're at 5 HP right now.
No, I'm 6, but I have 7 max HP. Because of
You have
mana
7
fight.
max HP. You're at 6, and you take
13.
7 exactly. Oh no! Oh, down goes Wandel. Excellent. The bear has movement left this turn, so it will move up to Melody, who's the last remaining fighter, and it will attempt to use its bite on you. For a 24.
That hits.
That'll hit for 6 points of damage.
Okay, I'm still up.
Okay, you're still up. That brings us to Belmond. You are down and unconscious. Please roll me a death saving throw.
Okay.
That is one
fail.
fail. Wandel, you have died. I am sorry. That brings us to bears. First, wait, Melody, did you get a turn?
I did get one turn where I healing worded.
Yes, the bonus.
Wandel.
I think I skipped
I have not
you.
gotten a turn since.
I think I
I'll
skipped
turn
you.
now.
Yeah. Melody, you were at the
Yes.
end of last round, before that death save
Okay.
on Belmond. What do you do?
Okay. one spell slot. Sleep. Belmont gets his turn before these bear things. I think the dwarf with the legendary axe should get some more attacks. I'm going to healing word Belmont.
All right.
Get him back up.
All right. You healing word Belmont. For 6
HP.
Yes, Belmont, your eyes snap open as the healing words of the bard help you. You don't have a failed death save. It is in fact your turn. What do you do?
It's that was a bonus action.
Oh, that was a bonus
Healing
action.
words.
You're right. I forgot. It's not your turn yet. Hold on. How dare you try to take your turn so early, Melody?
Melody keeps having like glimpses of what could be.
Yes.
As he's thinking through his action.
Melody's like Doctor
will be-
Stranging it over in the corner.
Dormammu. And he is going to longsword attack the bear. Positioning wise, there's one in front of Wandel. There's one that's standing over Belmont.
Correct.
Or was standing over Belmont. Am I like kind of in the middle? Can I reach either, or just only one? I would like to reach the one with Belmont, but not if it provides a attack of op.
I think that in the way my head had this, you and Wandel had specifically taken a step back away from the party. And like I didn't actually hear you say you moved, so maybe you were close.
I mean,
All right, hold on.
he's
All
a
right.
heroic part, so he was probably in front.
The dog makes a very good point. I think I'll roll for it.
I'll be right back. I just gotta take care of our barking dogs. It'll just be a minute. Sorry.
Okay, sure. It turns out the dog is very persuasive, and I rolled, and he can be in melee range of either one. So when he gets back, we'll have a sword attack, I'm sure. But while that's happening, Belmont Bronzebeard, you snap awake. Why don't you take your turn while this sword takes a long time coming?
I stand up, first of all, and then I'm gonna try and take a two-handed swing at the bear who just
All right.
bit me.
The 18 will hit. Go ahead and roll me some damage. For 11, so that's 28, 30 total damage. Not quite enough. The bear is still up, but you can tell it is close to its last breath.
Okay.
All
Sorry
right,
about that. I think someone
you're
got home.
back. Welcome back. Belmont popped up and took his turn while you were still Doctor Stranging in the corner, but now your longsword can come across. Go ahead and roll a hit. You can. I decided you could target either of these creatures, the one that Belmont is fighting or the other.
Okay, I think I'd rather see that one goes down.
Okay.
So I'll attack the wounded one.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll to hit.
And this is just a normal roll. 16.
16 will do it.
All right. And 1d 8, because I have a shield,
Okay.
plus 3. 9 damage.
9 points of damage. You're one
It
short.
had 10, didn't it? Yep.
It has 40 HP. You've done 39 total damage to the creature. Oh my goodness. Yo, where's that hex?
Maybe they don't hit.
All right. It is now the bear's turn. We'll just resolve them in the same order. The first on Belmont. Belmont, the first attack is a 25 with its claws. Dealing
that
to
hits.
you 13 damage. I think
Okay,
that will
I'm
take
down.
you down again.
Not dead though, right?
I don't believe
we
that
get through
kills him
this?
outright, no.
Okay.
There's
no,
no
that's
way
not
this
right,
kills
no.
him.
Yeah, no.
So that brings us to Melody. You are attacked by the bear in front of you with its claws for a 9.
I need a hero.
And it's a bite with a 17.
That passes 15.
All right. So you will take an additional
I'm
7
down.
points of damage.
Yep, I'm down. There was no way that wasn't bringing me down. I had 3.
All right. I
Not
believe.
dead, but
Well, everyone is down. I don't think the bears are just gonna eat you outright, but we'll see if you can get back up with a natural 20. I suppose that was fun. It's fun to see happen. Belmont, why don't you give me a death saving throw? That is a fail.
That's a fail.
Yeah. Wandel, no, you're dead. Melody, why don't you give me a death saving throw?
Too bad I cannot get inspiration or something.
You cannot inspire while unconscious, no.
You need like a music recorder for that. The music recorder can play and inspire you while you're down.
That would be
Is
a
there
cool
still music in the
bard.
background?
That would be a cool bard weapon, like something that you could set to play inspiring music, just like automatically. All right, that is a fail for each of you. Belmont, why don't you give me another one? Can you nat 20? No.
No, but I get a success.
That's one success. Melody, why don't you give me another one?
All right.
That is two fails.
2 fails.
Belmont, let's see it. That's 2 successes.
Success.
Melody? Melody, you're up with 1 HP! There's 2 bears standing over you. They look like they're about to eat Belmont, but you're back up. What do you do?
I am going to have no spell slots left. Be within melee, so I can't GTFO. I can't. I wouldn't know that he is doing well, but I am. There's only one bear about to eat him.
Oh,
Or
there's
they both-
2. They're still there. I just haven't had them eat you because I think it'd be more fun to roll the death saves.
Yeah, I can tell which one is more bloodied.
Oh, definitely,
Right.
because he's the only one that's been hit.
So I'm gonna attack the one that is most bloodied. Try to bring one guy down.
All
Just
right.
one last bit of heroism. He knows that he's probably dead this day, but he's gonna do his best.
Okay.
All 3 of us die here. We at least have to get enough XP from the bear kill so Tats can level up.
Power level
16.
10s. 16 will hit.
Oh, no.
Any amount of damage will slay the bear. You
Yeah.
slice into it. Ah, it dies. It's the bear's turn now. It turns around. It has fresh prey.
Maybe let me double check bonus actions. I don't think I have anything. I just need to see.
Sure. What do you got?
Like brawl check. Like the bear thought it killed something, then it jumped up and immediately one hit the bear.
Oh, a natural 19 on the die. The bear is very, very moraleful.
Yeah, nothing I can do on a bonus action except bardically inspire myself, but I'm not sure
right.
that works.
Sure, why not? Bardic inspiration
okay.
for yourself. Woo! I'm an ally within range now. All right, you're inspired. The bear turns to you.
I can't inspire the dying. Yeah, no, that wouldn't work.
No. But he will turn around and slap at you with his claws. With a 13.
That misses.
All right, and then he tries to bite you with a 21.
That does not misses.
Does 10 kill you outright?
It does. Exactly.
Oh no! It
My
exactly
hit point
gets
max
you.
is 9.
Oh.
My hit point max is 9, so 1,
Yeah,
and then
minus 10.
Ah.
Oh, you're dead. Unfortunate.
inspiration.
Belmont, it is your turn. Give me that death saving throw.
Tell me, did the dead bear like fall on top of me, or?
I'm not gonna make you fail a death save because a bear might have fallen on you.
Oh, I wasn't asking that. I was asking because
Cover.
maybe he'll want to eat the dead bear before me. Or maybe I can survive the
Maybe.
however long it takes.
I'm really just fishing for nat 20s to see if you pop back up.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, that's 2. So you're 2 fails, 2 successes. You have one more chance to nat 20.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and you
And there
do! You pop up with 1 HP. You have 2 dead companions around you. One of them is currently being eaten by this bear. What do you do?
You have a chance to run. I don't know where you can run to,
bolt.
but
I will disengage and bolt. Let the bear eat its other bear friends.
Okay.
And I will run away.
You run away. The bear is distracted. It has food. It's eating the bodies. You run into the woods with your 1 HP. What do you do? You're surrounded by these woods. It's dark. You see the rot and the dark magic ripping through it. You're running full speed as fast as your dwarfy little legs can take you away from the bears. You remember from traveling through here that there are all kinds of creatures. Small herbivores, rabbits, but also you saw leopards, bears, you saw large snakes. There are predators here. Now you know they're angry. What do you do?
I will try and find a good place to hide.
All right. How do you do that?
Somewhere I can catch my breath for hopefully 10 minutes at least.
So as you look for
is
a safe
there like
place,
a large? Yeah, is there like a large bush or something that I could crawl under?
Okay, yeah, definitely. You're in a forest. There's underbrush. There's big trees and roots. You can find a big bush to try to hide in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what I will have you do then, hiding in a bush seems like a very standard stealth check to me. I think that sounds like you are diving under a big bush and you're trying to like stealth dexterity your way. Go ahead and give me a stealth dexterity check. And we'll see.
I am wearing medium armor, so I have disadvantage.
Oh, you do have disadvantage. I mean, you could take off your armor if you wanted. No.
Yeah, it's gonna take a long time to take it
It
off, I
is.
think.
Yeah, go ahead and dive under that bush for me, and we'll see. You rolled a 9.
Yeah.
Ooh. Something finds you. What is it? You're hiding in the bush. You're hiding in the bush, and you see these like leopards leap by you. You hide. You're hidden. They don't find you. You see this big hippopotamus thumping by. This big maw has a like big fish caught in its mouth, and it walks by. It doesn't find you. But sure enough, as you're hiding in this bush, you feel something kind of heavy, like not fall so much as like thump down on you, and then it begins to slide and slither up your leg. You look over your shoulder and there's a big constrictor snake that has dropped out of the tree. You can see the like rot of the magic of this place like lining down its body, and it is crawling up you. What do you do?
Well, I don't think I can run away too much, but I'll try. I'll try to disengage.
Okay.
Actually, if it's not like eating me straight away, is it like trying to constrict me right now, or is it?
It does
moving
seem
above
like
me?
it's curling around you. It's a big constrictor snake that you can act before it, like, it's not sneak attacking you. It just found you. But now
When
you're
you
in
say
this
big,
situation.
do you mean like the? How
It
big?
is a... It is about... Oh, that's a range. It is about 11 feet long.
That's big snake.
That's a big snake.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and stand up and try and hack it with my paddle.
All
I think
right.
I can run away.
All right, you stand up and you hack it with your weapon. Give me a roll to hit.
There's no way I can run away from it because I'm
Okay.
that's a low movement. So, yep, hack.
14 will hit the snake.
For 13 damage.
13 damage. Whoa! Hold on. How much health does it have? Not this one. I need the big one. There we go. It has... Oh my god, it has a lot of health. No, it is not. It is not dead. In fact, it is now initiative time. You stood up and you slapped it. It's surprised, but now it is going to roll an initiative against you to, like, kill you.
Did you just take the CR3 snake stat block to find him?
To be fair, it's not CR3, no. Alright, the snake will go at 9. What do you go at?
Let's see.
18. Alright, you're the first to move. After
the
slashing
damage
the
I can.
snake, it like rears itself up. Its tongue licks out right in your eyes. What do you do?
Yeah, I can't outrun it. I'm so slow. So yeah, gonna have to fight it.
Okay.
I imagine it's faster than me.
It's very
Has
fast in
25
the
more.
water. It has, yeah, it's the same speed as you on land.
Actually, yeah, I'm 25. So yeah,
Yeah.
guess I'm 12. Yep, another axe hit.
All right, go ahead and roll that axe. You hit it. For 8, that is not enough. You slash into the creature. It's bleeding. It's like magic oozes out of it in places, but it is its turn. And it is a constrictor snake, but it has a bite attack. Will it constrict? No, it's gonna constrict you. It's a constrictor snake. It's gonna do what its name says. It tries to wriggle up around and squeeze you, which it does successfully. It bludgeons you for a lot of damage, actually. 12! Not that bad. A minus 11, are you dead?
No.
No.
Not right out there.
Do you want to try to roll a bunch of death saves for another natural 20, or shall we close the curtains on this one, Belmont?
We can just do 3 quick rolls.
All right,
and
3
we are
quick
dead.
ones. Oh my god, you are dead! Okay, well, that is 3 fails. And everyone inside has died. Tads.
Nobody will know.
Nobody will know. Tads. Night comes eventually. Actually, did you get any encounters during the day? No. Night comes, and you are sitting here watching this thing happen as the sun sets in your world, and the stars come out. You see this flickering, shimmering magic inside the fairy ring turn darker. The snippets of things you see inside are cold and icy. These trees are covered in like some kind of frost. The singing in it turns into a wicked cackling. You see and smell wafts of rot and like bad juju. Bad juju in the in the ring. What do you do as you're sitting outside this?
Tad's had already decided that she will wait for at least the morning to see whether one of the companions or their skeletons get spit out by whatever creature that is. Although upon seeing a juju, she will back off another 100 feet
All right.
and set camp there.
You set up camp and you watch this thing through the night. No encounters come, and eventually the dawn comes. As morning light hits it, you see the shimmering change, and as the dawn comes once again, you get this sound of music coming forth in snippets through the shimmers. You see glances of a tree, of a babbling brook, of water splashing over rocks. But morning comes and none of your companions come with it. It's still just you.
Well, it's unfortunately what Tad's expected. You will pick up her things, but make sure to be especially slow with it. Just the slim of hope that one of them is going to come out eventually. She will throw water in her face to cushion up a little bit since she didn't get much sleep this night, and she will eventually take the 2 mules and ride back. So the mules are at a lower movement speed rate than she is, but she wants to preserve her energy as much as possible.
All right, you begin making your way back to Farfield Keep. I'm just going to roll a bunch of encounter checks, and we'll resolve them if need be. Otherwise, we'll just get you back to town.
If there's nothing if there's any creature that she thinks she cannot outrun, like she's very fast because like with Strider, she has movement speed 50.
Ooh.
Plus the slowing.
Do you have movement speed 50
maybe
or
slowing
movement speed 40? I thought you had
40 on her own, but then with long stride it's 50.
Oh, long stride. Right. Okay. Have long
So if
stride
she
prepared.
feels like she can't run them out, outrun those creatures, then she will pray to Suri for safe return.
Well, I just
giving up
got
one of her team
an 18 strength character, but unfortunately that isn't any encounters.
18-100.
Oh my
Oh, wait,
god.
fine.
Okay,
Long distance.
I rolled 4 6s and a 2. We do get one encounter. You make your way through the entire day, pushing on as far as you can. But eventually, you will find yourself encountering something. What do you encounter, Taz? Taz encounters... a familiar foe, Tads. You see a group
Whirly
of
boys?
axebeaks.
Oh, no.
Large birds with big beaks. There are... Excuse me, there we go. There are... Oh, there is... You spy one axebeak!
It's the. If we didn't kill the one that was asleep, that would have been hilarious. but-
That is there is one single axebeak, and it is coming your way, and it is coming your way fast. What do you do, Tads?
I'll leave one of the mules behind, and then
Okay.
long stride. Well, it's usually have movement speed 30 when they're encumbered, right? Lightly encumbered.
So yeah, if they're encumbered, they're heavily encumbered.
No,
yeah,
they're not.
No, okay, if they're encumbered, then their movement
Regularly
speed will
encumbered.
be 30, correct? Because
Yeah.
they have normally movement speed 40.
Yeah, and then -10. So.
Yep, so 30.
In that case, she will cast Long Strider on herself and jump off the second mule. So like leave the two mules there. She will always try to keep distance between herself and the X beak.
Okay.
But if possible, she will fish for occasional Ray of Frost because they have the same movement speed. But so she will make sure that there's enough distance, at least the mule between her and the axe beak, so that
Okay. So you leap off the
can go.
mule. Let's see which of you the axebeak goes for. There's 2 mules and you. It goes for the mule. You race off this mule, begin jumping back. The axebeak runs forward. It just takes a big... Whoa! Out of the mule, striking it. You see blood fly, but there is an opportunity for you to escape here. Do you take it?
I think I'll run with that.
You will run.
Trying to gesture the second mule to come with me. Well, I guess it will probably just like run off in some random direction.
Make me an animal
And,
handling check as you try to get the mule to come with you.
Yeah, that is general wisdom, right?
Yes, it is.
20.
Oh, you gesture at the mule, but it is too frightened. One of the mules is just cut down by this axebeak. The other one races off into the plains. You could try to go chase it down, but it doesn't follow you as you run away.
I think I'll just focus on running away and then
Alright.
getting some distance between me and the axebeak. And maybe since the mule is it's tall enough to look out of the tall grass, maybe I'll try to like keep an eye on where it is. And if it runs in a convenient direction, then at a later point of time I try to collect it. But if not, I'll just by foot.
Okay. Well, it runs deeper into the plains. You can keep some distance away from this axebeak, but this lone axebeak has a veritable feast on its hand, and it just goes to town on the mule that it hit and is beginning to rip apart portions of it. It seems to have forgotten you for the moment, so you are by yourself. If you want to go after the mule that has run off, what I will do is roll an additional couple of encounter checks for tracking to it and then tracking back. Or, since that was the only encounter you rolled on your way back, you could escape with your life.
I think she will run off. Like the mule was not worth a life.
You escape, leaving the mules to their fate out in the howling fields. But you eventually find your way back to the plains and the farmlands of Farfield Keep, weary and battered and companionless. But you have made it back alive. Excellent. So, I don't know if I want to give you the bear XP or not. What do you think?
Oh no.
Does Tads get bear XP?
No.
No bear XP. All right.
Oh, what is this? Like, we fought so hard for this. I just let one profit from it, right?
All right. Well, minus the bear, you still managed to bring home 300 XP, and you don't have to share it with anyone, so it's all yours. So 300 XP. You have very little in the way of treasure to bring back, but you do have your life, and you can go back again. What a session that was, guys.
Yeah.
That's life.
Found something
From,
amazing, but I mean, maybe Tads can tell about it and people try to go out there. They just won't know what it is.
At least someone knows where this ring is now, so in case someone else wants to go there.
Right.
It is Tats
It's
was writing
sad.
down the story, so it is some bird creature that ate her companions, and they were never to be seen again.
Very true.
Well, maybe it's then lost forever.
All right. Well, thank you all for playing with me. I had a really good time. I hope that you guys did too. It was a bit on the shorter end, but it was exciting. Is there anything you want to shout out or say before I turn the stream off here?
I am officially challenging Millman to the title of most character deaths. A couple of us have had 2 now. How many has he had? 1?
It's true. It's only one. It's only one for him so far.
I'm tied with you now, right? With 2 character that.
All right.
But you had 1 less Saffron than me, so I guess you're still ahead. You have, like... If you get your next character killed in the next Saffron, then you'll be ahead of me.
Yeah, we'll see on
Indie
Friday.
Gold.
I think it's Friday. I was wrong before.
All right.
Thanks everyone for playing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, amazing session. I am not concerned at all with the character deaths as long as we see something really cool and interesting. I'm glad he had a moment of heroism to give our dwarven friend another chance at life. It was worth it.
It was.
One day was always going into the ring at some point, sooner or later, so...
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for playing. Thanks for organizing, Greg, as always. And
Absolutely.
up, guys, if you're in chat and you haven't yet.
Well, that'll do it for today's session. Thank you all for playing once again. Thank you for tuning in Twitch chat. I will see you all next week sometime. We've got the return of a team Lost in the Mist on Thursday. We got 2 regular sessions, Friday and Saturday. It will be a full week of D&D. Maybe we'll get some streams as well. If not, or I hope to see you then. If not, have a great rest of your day, night, week, whatever it is till I see you again. And I will catch you all next time. Peace, everyone.